listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. And as always, thanks for starting your week off with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, how is it with the house half empty compared to what it was all last week?
Well, you're asking me at the time when I can say it's awesome. It's great. I love it. Because I have to in the mornings go through exercises in the dark. I do everything in the morning as quietly and without as much light as is humanly possible as to not wake up my wife. She is a light sleeper. She is sensitive to light. So literally it's opening two doors in our bathroom to block the light because our bathroom and bedroom are connected. So I open a closet door and I open the door to the loo to shield off as much light as possible. I have to shut a door, and then I turn on lights minimally in the kitchen and etc. There are lights on everywhere right now. I have every damn light on downstairs. Not only that, I get to listen to music in the shower, which makes me happy. I get about 3 songs from the time I turn the shower on until I am done getting dressed. I do shave in that time too, David, just to let you know. That's a shower, that's a shave, and that's to get dressed. Lights on, music on. Glorious. Most mornings, there's no sound, and I'm using the flashlight on my phone to grab clothes to take into the other room to get dressed as to not wake her up. So this morning was wonderful. Tomorrow morning will be wonderful. After that, she'll be back, and I'll go back to having to hide. It'll be better when school starts. I've got about another month of this. When school begins, she gets up quite a bit earlier. This house gets up quite a bit earlier. So I can make noise come school year. But in the summertime, when everybody gets another hour and a half, and the daughter gets a little more time, I've got to be the one being quiet. And this just in, I have trouble being quiet.
Mark left out the reason why he can now go lights full blast. His wife is out of town. She took in the Bon Jovi concert with her best friend. Nice gift from her best friend who, like Mark, doesn't like Bon Jovi, and would not pay to see Bon Jovi, and yet to celebrate your wife's birthday, right? It's kind of a late birthday gift?
It was a birthday gift for my wife, which was late last month. And actually, my wife's best friend's birthday was yesterday. So it was a birthday weekend for the two of them in the city. And obviously, they took in the Bon Jovi show last night. She sent me a couple pictures pre-show and a little video. There was, and I know, like, somebody texted me, I was like, enough Bon Jovi talk. I'm not talking about his music. I'm not breaking down Wanted Dead or Alive acoustic on the show, nor do I care to. But he was a big deal for a lot of years. And he had the only way I can describe it is similarly when I went to football games, or when I go to football games in Pittsburgh and you walk into their Hall of Fame wing of the stadium and there are the lockers of the players. He had 4 or 5 lockers, if you will, cases that had different, guitars and outfits and things that he wore on stage. And what cracked me up is if in 2 of those cases, there was Aquanet hairspray. And nothing screams 1987 quite like Aquanet hairspray.
I was going to say, your wife is a big hair childhood gal of the 80s and 90s. So
she probably tried to break the glass and steal it just to get that put up one more time.
I'm just wondering if her and her best friend, did they tease their hair and go as big hair as possible last night?
Not at all. Not even close. They're both in their 50s. They have a little more sense than that. But I will say I was a sucker for the heavy metal chick. Not that the heavy metal chick was ever a sucker for me.
Right.
But, I do recall The guy that I just saw in Clearwater, a friend of mine who I had not seen in years, he and I had a pseudo double date once for a rat poison show, which we took the Redmond sisters. One was 2 years older than me, one was a year younger than me, and they could rock the big hair. They looked good. They were hot. Tight jeans, jean jacket, damn right. But because when you went to the metal show, David, now, I mean, think about it. Metal was a primarily, and this is kind of pre-Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi's probably starting to happen at this time. If you remember, before metal went a little softer, and the Bon Jovis and the Poisons and bands like that started coming on the scene, to go to a show, it was 80%, 85% men. And the women that were there were a special type.
Right.
Smoking Marlboro Reds. You know, you were intimidated by this girl. However, occasionally, some of these girls were just tough. Some of these girls would kick your ass. Then there was the heavy metal hot chick, of which there were not that many. And, you know, they always dated a guy with long hair. You had no shot if you didn't have long hair. But, you know, the mullet wasn't enough. But the heavy metal hot chick, that was a special type of dirty hot. That was kind of the only dirty hot we had back then.
So you're saying the Redmond sisters fit the mold?
100%. 100%.
That's good to know. It's good to know. Maybe one day you can dig up a picture and I can see the Redmond sisters during their young prime. But Miller and Moulton on this Monday. It's all-star break time in baseball. Only one baseball game before Friday. That's not counting the one in Philadelphia tomorrow night because that's an exhibition. It's Open Championship Week across the pond, where it's only the second biggest story going. Although it could be the biggest story going depending on how the one semifinal goes on Wednesday between England and Argentina. But let me tell you, if England wins on Wednesday, there may be like 812 people at Royal Birkdale on Sunday. I mean, either that or they're going to go to see the morning tea times and then they're going to race home. Because it's not like England makes the World Cup final very often. And for as glorious as the Open Championship is, it would not be able to compete with that.
It was. It'll be you could take them both in. You're going to have to watch the game at the pub though, because you figure, you know, the final doesn't start until 3. I will say, can we just give a quick 10 foot for par clap, 8 foot for par clap to the World Cup? And you know why, David? When the game says it's going to start at 3:00, do you know when the game has started?
Mark, it doesn't even wait to 3:01. It starts at 3.
As someone who spent part of his life putting together timesheets for when the damn puck dropped.
Right.
And moved that puck drop by 7-8 minutes because people complained that they were getting out too late. And I said, well, we got to start these games when we say we're going to start them. David, who's ever in charge of that and for the World Cup, it could be a 4-pager. From doors open until kickoff, they run a tight ship. They throw 2 anthems in there. They've got players walking out. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance. There really is. You know, the kids walk out with the players. There's a lot that goes on before the World Cup game. There really is. And I'm not being a smart aleck here. I'm being dead serious.
And it is impeccably timed because those matches start right at the top of the hour. Like the 1:00 NFL games kick off at 1:01. Now, and the 4:00 games, not the 4:15s, not the 4:25s, but the 1:00 and the 4:00 kick off at 1:01 and 4:01 Eastern. The others, all bets are off. We moved our kickoff up 5 minutes on Monday Night Football from Buck and Aikman's first year to now. We shaved 5 minutes off.
Good for you. I'm happy about it. Games end earlier.
And we added the anthem. So we took out some commercials. We took out some blah, 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 blah from talking heads and the like. And we threw in the anthem. I don't know if people notice that, but if you watch Monday Night Football, you get the anthem every week. Some people like that. Some people are like, can we kick off? What are we doing? Hey, it's either the anthem or you get more talk. Okay? Remember, it's a TV show. It's all about getting in the commercials.
But I give it up for the World Cup. When it says it starts at 3, it starts at 3.
Yep.
But by that, that's 8 o'clock in Great Britain. So the Open should be over by 3 o'clock.
That's
should
true.
be over.
That is true.
But if you're attending to get in your car and drive to wherever you're going to, that'll be tight. I would imagine the pubs in and around the golf course will be busy until the wee hours.
Could you imagine if England wins Wednesday and they're in the World Cup final? Doesn't it seem almost fitting that you've got to place a bet Wednesday night on an English golfer to win the Open Championship, don't you? Don't you just have to say, well, they're on a roll. Let's pick one of them. Let's go. Like maybe your guy. Like maybe it's Tyrrell Hatton's turn if England beats Argentina. Who knows? But Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. A lot went on, a lot more than you think. We'll get to that in 25 minutes with the starting five.
A lot happened over the weekend, although yesterday may have been the worst sports day in the history of America.
Unless you really like golf.
I will tell you just how bad it was and what I was forced to watch while alone because my daughter, well, let's be honest, she wanted to talk to her friends. Miller and Moulton, starting 25 minutes away.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Sleep problem but don't want to wear a CPAP mask? This is Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. The mask wasn't working for me, and I didn't think I had an alternative. I do. We all do. They have such simple alternatives with greater success than the mask. Visit sleeptreatmentdirect.com. That's sleeptreatmentdirect.com. And if you are like me and your CPAP machine isn't working for you, it's time for a change. Call 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton. They're not. Great sport. You're listening to Miller and Moulton. If the show makes you laugh, yell, or think, feel free to show the guys a little love. Hit us on Venmo at Miller and Moulton. Every little bit helps keep the nonsense moving. Now, here is Miller and Moulton.
Brown chicken? I guess not. I guess it's only a 90-minute thing. Because I think you can still bet a tie, which then apparently, because I see ties still being bet. So I'm guessing anything that goes to extra time, a tie wins. I don't bet soccer, Brown Chicken, so I cannot help you. That would be, obviously my only way you can assume that, but I wouldn't be happy. There are the gamblers stepping in for you, Brown Chicken. There's all your answers.
There you go.
I don't think I've bet a soccer match. I haven't bet in a while. Don't think I've bet since the U.S. Open, in which I lost because Xander Schauffele choked. I had him for the top 10, and he couldn't get it in. Couldn't play worth a damn on Sunday for me, could he? Oh, well. That account's got to have very little money in it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this Monday edition of Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. There's a few tidbits that happen during the show every morning. Usually it's sports related. But for those of you who are into movies, the character actor Sam Neill passed away this morning at the age of 78. Jurassic Park, The Piano, a few other movies. I was working in a movie theater during the summer of 94 when The Piano came out. And as I was sweeping the carpet and what have you, I would catch different parts of The Piano. And I don't know if you've ever had that movie when you're flipping through the channels and you've never seen the whole thing from beginning to end, but you've tuned in at about 23 different aspects of the movie and you've watched 5 to 10 minutes at a time that you feel like you've seen the movie. Well, that's how I was with the piano, Mark. And when it won all those Oscars, I remember thinking, this was the worst movie I've ever seen.
I have to
Boring.
be honest. I'm glad you mentioned Jurassic Park with him because I am guessing, and maybe I'm going on a limb here, that most of our audience hasn't seen the piano. And
Good.
I'm hopeful that they haven't.
I am too.
I've never seen it. I've never wanted to see it. I just know there's a reference to it in the movie Dogma. That's about as much about the piano as I know.
So Sam Neill was 78.
But it's funny because we do this thing at the end of the show. Today was the day when. And I was thinking in terms of a poll question today, celebrating that aspect of the show because it's Cameron Crowe's birthday. Cameron Crowe has done a lot of movies. There are 4 that I would put up. And there's one that I like as much as any of these, but there are 4 that I think are damn near iconic movies, at least 3 of them. You can vote for the best movie. Fast Times, which I think would win, but it might not, because this is a sports show after all. Say Anything. I mean, the John Cusack boombox scene is a monumental movie scene for those of us of a certain age. Almost Famous, which was just a great kind of a biopic of him, quite frankly. It's really about his life as the writer, and Jerry Maguire for the sports fan out there. I mean, those are 4 biggies. He's had other movies, and I'm a big fan of the movie Singles because it brought the grunge rock and the Seattle scene to everybody. And it happened to be coming out right at the time that I left Michigan to move on my own. But Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous, Say Anything, Fast Times. That's a pretty good, if that's your Mount Rushmore of films, you're not Scorsese. I'm not saying that you are, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, it means that basically you crushed the 90s.
Yeah.
Is what that says. Late 80s, 90s. You crushed it.
Fast Times is 82. Say Anything's 89. Jerry Maguire's 96. Almost Famous is 2000. It's a pretty good span.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 decades. I mean, either that or we could do something on National Beans and Franks Day, David. One or the other. That's all I've got today for poll questions. Because I tried to be a sports fan, and I was a sports fan yesterday. I watched 3 different golf tournaments. I watched the men's final at Wimbledon. And then at night, I went, Sunday night baseball on NBC. No. Everybody off early. All-star break. We're done.
Yep.
Afternoon games. You don't get that. So I threw on the NASCAR race. No sound.
Whoa.
I just threw it on.
Whoa. You threw on the NASCAR race?
Yeah, but I actually, I'm looking at around, I don't know, 6:37, whatever the hell it was, before my daughter and I had dinner. And on TV, too, with no sound, I had the pregame, and I left it on for the race. I'm like, I'll just throw this on. What the hell?
Wow.
I didn't listen to any of it. I paid a little bit of attention to it because I wanted to see. I used to pay attention to, Ross Chastain. I wasn't aware until they went down in the 30s that he was even still racing. He sucks.
They're having a rough year. His team is having a rough year. Trackhouse. They do not have the speed that the big boys have, and they've had the speed the last 3-4 years. They do not have it this year.
Yeah. Translation, they suck. And so then, because I could watch TV in bed last night without the wife in town, I'm like, what am I going to watch? So I've been watching the show Tombstone, the TV show there with Costner. So I watched the end of an episode and I went to bed and I'm like, I can't start another one. It's late. And I'm flipping. I mean, I'm looking through the scale. All that was on was the WNBA, and that game was a blowout. So I tried. I actually tried. I did watch about a set and a half where I was actually watching Wimbledon. The first 2 sets were terrific. The last 2 sets, well, Sinner just kind of took over.
Right. He said, I'm number 1, you're number 2 in this tournament, and there's a reason for that. Yes. He had a gear that Zverev couldn't reach, won his second straight Wimbledon. But for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you caught that. Mark Miller had on at various times last night the NASCAR race and the WNBA.
I tried.
Wow. I mean, it was Caitlin Clark. So
I didn't even see her. By the time I turned it on, they had her on the bench if she even played because they were up by 30.
yeah,
It wasn't
she
much
played.
game.
Yeah, she played. They blew out Vegas.
Both
By the way,
bad, for the record, both teams bad. That team brought Indiana to 500, and Vegas is not even 500.
now you know I don't pay attention to the UFC, but I did hear that Saturday night they had UFC 300 something.
Yeah, they ripped some people off.
Oof. Well, if you're stupid enough, no offense, 2026, to pay for Conor McGregor, that ain't on the UFC. That's on you. But Sophie Cunningham of the Indiana Fever was one of the ring girls.
She qualifies. Fantastic physique, very pretty. That's usually what a ring girl has. She qualifies.
So obviously they approached her and she said, yeah, I got the night off. We're not playing on the next night. I can do that.
Did she just point at either of the fighters while she was walking around? Did she do the finger point?
I didn't see any video. I just saw the headline.
Gotcha.
And then a picture that was taken of her like right before or after she had gone through the ropes. So I just, thought it was worth pointing out.
But the Conor McGregor fight lasted about 30 seconds. And his knee was hurt and he was done. His knee tweaked on a jump kick, and that was about it.
Technically, it was 69 seconds, but yes, he hurt the knee, and they fear he may have blown out an ACL, but he did some kind of jump kick, landed awkwardly, and yep, that's it. It's over. How much did you pay? Mm-hmm. But he did release a statement saying my knee was not hurt before the fight. Otherwise, he didn't say anything. He didn't talk to the media, but he did release a statement saying my knee was not hurt before the fight.
Yeah, the daughter and I, while that was on, I will say I'm probably going to be in trouble because we watched a movie together last night because she'd been on her phone talking to friends all day. And I'm like, want to watch a movie? And my wife begs for movie night. My wife's out of town, and we never watch movies. And like literally, I don't know if the three of us have ever sat down and watched a movie together. We watched one yesterday, my daughter and I. We're going to keep it from her as long as is humanly possible. Miller and Moulton, the starting 5 is next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
They do it a little bit in baseball of record. I mean, because last year the Yanks had a bad record against the good teams. I do remember that heading into the playoffs. The Yankees, despite what their record was, they really beat up on the bad teams last year. Yeah, George had a great number 18, Sonny. When Miguel Angel Jimenez there miss bogeys, doesn't get up and down out of the bunker. That takes the group that was he moved George into a T5, and the other guy there, literally, who could have gone ahead of him alone for fourth or fifth, rather, his birdie putt comes up. I mean, an inch short, 2 inches short. So George had a really good 18th hole in the last group of their failures.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Whit Watson. A lot of golf this weekend. Open Championship coming up this week. We'll talk to Whit Watson about the world of golf coming up in 2 hours. 47 and 58 are your magic numbers. 47 days away to the start of the college football season. And 58, 8 weeks from Wednesday, Seattle and New England to kick off the 2026 NFL season. 47 and 58 are your magic numbers. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
We take inventory at the All-Star break. 5 of the division races decided by 5 games or less, as we're a little past 60% of the baseball season. In the American League, the Rays lead by 3 over the Yankees. There's a tie in the Central between the White Sox and the Guardians, and the Twins are just 3 back. And Texas with a 1.5 game lead, and they're above 500 in the West. National League, Braves lead is 2. 2 over the Phillies, 4 over the Marlins. Milwaukee, their lead is 5. They had a rough weekend. And the Dodgers, the only one that's cruising. LA up by 11.5 in the West. The Red Sox enter the All-Star break with a 9-game winning streak. Did you hear about their flight problems on Friday?
I did.
They swept the White Sox
Right.
in Chicago and couldn't get out of Chicago Thursday. And they played an afternoon game. They couldn't get out. And then for whatever reason, they can't get out Friday morning. And at 2 o'clock Eastern, they're still at O'Hare. They eventually got there, but they got there rather late. And they had to push the start of the Friday game back. But it didn't hurt the Red Sox at all because they were playing the Mets after all, and they swept the series. So the Red Sox, the hottest team at the All-Star break, winners of 9 in a row. The A's, the coldest team at the break, having lost 9 in a row. Tonight's the Home Run Derby on Netflix. You heard me. The Home Run Derby on Netflix. 8 players in it. One of them, Rays third baseman, Junior Caminero. All-Star games tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on Big Fox. So big day tomorrow for Fox. Late afternoon, they'll have France and Spain in one semifinal, and then they'll have the All-Star game a couple hours later. Yesterday, Seattle salvaged something out of their series with the Rays and, quite frankly, their trip to Florida, because they got swept by the Marlins, lost the first 2 games in St. Pete, but then beat Tampa Bay 8-2. While the Yankees ended up sweeping the Nats, picking up a game on the Rays, and they did so, Mark, trailing all 3 games in the top of the 8th inning. Yet they swept the Nats.
For a while, the Nats have trouble pitching, and their starters did a pretty decent job, but they couldn't finish games. Long ball one night, and the Yankees able to put runs together late in games.
And they pick up a game on the Rays. They are 3 back of Tampa Bay, 4 in the loss column at the break. The Red Sox, as we mentioned, hottest team in baseball. They sweep the Mets 3-2-10. Hey, don't look now. The Orioles are getting it together. They swept Kansas City, who's tied for the worst record in the American League with the Angels. Baltimore just 2 out of a wild card. They beat Kansas City 8-2. The Padres are 500 at the break. They beat Toronto 5-4. The Blue Jays, defending American League champions, so close to World Series champions, they're in last in the East at the break.
Still only 2.5 out of a wild card spot, by the way. I mean, you're right. What you said is accurate. But, I mean, as bad as that division has been, the Red Sox are a half game back, the Orioles are 2 out, and the Blue Jays are 2.5 out of the playoffs right now.
You throw in the Twins and the Astros, and you got quite the hodgepodge for the final playoff spot in the American League. White Sox scored 6 in the first, swept the A's 9-1. And Cleveland went into South Florida and swept the Marlins after the Marlins had swept the Mariners. And before that, the Cardinals. Cleveland 5-2 pushes the Marlins 4 back of the Braves, 2 back of the Phillies, but the Marlins do hold down the final playoff spot in the National League. Cleveland tied with the White Sox atop the Central. Braves scored 1 in the 9th to beat the Cardinals 4-3. Tigers were red hot until the weekend. Phillies beat them Saturday and Sunday. Zach Wheeler honked last week that he didn't get invited to the All-Star game. Pitches his best performance of the year on Tuesday and throws 6 shutout innings yesterday. Before yesterday, Major League Baseball invited Zach Wheeler to the All-Star game. He told them to shove it up there, which I'm a little surprised about for this reason. He wasn't going to pitch. If you pitched yesterday, you don't pitch in the All-Star game.
Actually, that's why I'd say that. Really? I'm going to show up and stand around with these guys for a couple of days? I'll spend 3 with my family. Thank you very much.
But he lives and works in Philly.
I got you.
But
don't get too many days away.
True. That's why a couple of the Dodgers aren't going to go to the White House. Because like Mookie Betts just had a child. He said, this ain't politics. This is, I got a brand new baby. I'm going home. Hope everyone understands.
He came out and said it that because he did. This is not me not wanting to go to the White House. This is me wanting to spend days with my newborn. I mean, he did get that out there right away.
Don't look now, but the Pirates swept the Brewers. In fact, they scored 10 runs in the 4th inning yesterday. Beat Milwaukee 14-5. The Pirates, what are they, 2 out of the playoffs?
They're 2 out, 2 behind the Marlins. And David, I think they did that with a doubleheader sweep too, because one of the games got rained out. So they went double dip on Saturday and won them both. That's tough to do in baseball.
It is. But we joked much earlier in the season Wouldn't it be something that the final playoff spot in the National League came down to the Marlins and the Pirates? Well, with the exception of the Cardinals getting in between them, right now the final playoff spot in the National League could be the Marlins or the Pirates.
And we look at that run differential thing, Marlins plus 24, Pirates plus 44. This isn't a fluke that either of them are there.
And Mark, right now the Pirates have 3 starters on the injured list. Seriously, the Pirates should be buyers.
Well, and it's not necessarily been completely their starting. I mean, Skeens is pitching fine, can't win a game. They can't close it out. They need bullpen help as much as they need these starters to come back.
Skeens went, 9 starts in a row without winning a game, although he did win 2 last week, including getting all that run support yesterday. Meanwhile, the Reds are a pretty good team just as long as they don't play anybody in their division. Cubs doubled them up 8-4. The Reds' division record is horrendous.
They're now 9 games below 500. They're 8 back in a wild card. Not only that, they've got to pass 5 teams just to get to before they get to the Marlins, who have the last wild card spot. David, we talked about the Ellie De La Cruz thing, and I know that's wishful thinking on our part, but they should be sellers.
Yes, they should. Cubs double them up 8-4 thanks to a 4-run 7th. Bregman with his biggest day of the season, 4 RBIs. The Cubs right now are the 4 seed, I believe, in the National League, 5 back of the Brewers, and Alex Bregman had a bad first half. And what if he gets going? Arizona swept the Dodgers 5-3, despite Ohtani hitting his 22nd homer. Texas edged Houston 6-5. The Twins doubled up the Angels 4-2. They've won 8 of the last 9 series they've played, the Twins. I mean, that's a month of baseball right there. That's pretty good. Giants with 2 in the 8th beat Colorado 3-1. Tom Kim, who hadn't won in a while, won the Scottish Open by 2 over Min-Woo Lee. Stephen Fisk won the ISCO Championship on the 3rd playoff hole. Zach Johnson won the Calling Championship on the Champions Tour by 6. Our buddy George McNeil, ka-ching, ka-ching, T5, $144,000. Thank you very much.
He made over $1 million this year.
Right. Yep.
And heads across the pond in 2 weeks for the Senior Open.
Brooke Henderson had 3 eagles yesterday, including one on 18, to force a playoff, rallying from 7 back, only to have Heyron Rue birdie the first playoff hole to win her 2nd major in a row on the LPGA Tour. Ryan Blaney led 171 laps to win the rain-delayed NASCAR race in Atlanta. The race ended, Mark, at 1:45 in the morning. The delay was over 3 hours. Ross Chastain rallied late to finish 11th. World Cup, it's a magical Final Four, maybe the best ever by FIFA rankings. Top 4 nations in the world, France, Spain, Argentina, and England, are the semifinalists. France and Spain Tuesday afternoon, Argentina and England Wednesday afternoon.
It is the first time since they've done those rankings, David, that the top 4 have made it to the semifinals, and that's since the 90s.
Wimbledon, top 2 seeds on the men's side. Top seed Jannik Sinner won his 2nd straight Wimbledon title in 4 sets. And women's seed, a battle of 2 Czech Republic ladies. 9th seed Linda Noskova beat the 10 seed and her good friend in 3 sets. And finally, Mark, a story I think we're going to talk a lot more about this week. The University of Michigan Regents are meeting this Thursday. They're going to go over investigators' 7-month investigation into the culture of the Michigan Athletic Department and decide whether or not Athletic Director Ward Manuel should keep his job. How thorough was the investigation? Well, I don't know, but it cost the university $11 million. That's some legal fees right there. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was starting five big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton.
So lots of sports. I tried to watch the end of the NASCAR race. I was going to put it on before the WNBA last night, David, because I was able to watch television in bed. That's a rarity for me. And I went to the NASCAR race first, and they had some American Ninja Warrior crap on, but they were running a very large, bold scroll at the bottom. We are still in a weather delay, which they had been in for quite a while. So I watched the final, 2 minutes of the WNBA game. It was a blowout, and then I turned it off.
Over 3 hour weather delay in Atlanta. Yikes. 1:45 a.m. Is that like Stanley Cup playoffs where you have to decide, are you sticking with this or not?
On television, see, that's the difference, though. They don't fill the whole time. It's on TNT. They just put they tried to fill for a while, then they put other programming on. So when Andy Griffith is on, sometimes you can fall asleep during those Braves rain delays, David.
Right?
That's what they should put on. They should go black and white for old time's sake.
I agree. Or for that matter, put on an old Braves game. I don't mind seeing Murphy and Horner again. How about Phil Niekro on the mound, just for old time's sake? Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, Tim, in my world, they were only over 500 for the first game. They were 500. I guess you're doing, 500 or over for two. I guess all three, right? Yeah, because they just put them a game below 500. So at the time they played them, they were over 500 or over for all of those. Or at least as much. Although I will say, Connor took a few punches after he fell. The guy didn't quit hitting him. I did not, Robes. I did watch about the last couple holes, but I shouldn't say I watched. I had it on in the background after the seniors ended and Tom Kim had won. I threw it on, but I really don't pay any attention. Doesn't Fish win all of those? Like, doesn't he win that every year, basically?
Like you, Mark, I tuned in for like 5 minutes and he had a comfortable lead. And apparently he had 3-putt bogeys and still had a comfortable lead. Because she's a woman and she's playing from the men's tees. So
And I think they invite her and she says, wait for it. Yes.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Baseball at the All-Star break. Home Run Derby tonight on Netflix. That's never happened before. All-Star game tomorrow night in Philly on Fox. Your playoff teams today, Mark? Rays, and then you split the tie between the White Sox and the Guardians. Not only are they tied, but they're 4-4 head-to-head against each other. And Texas. So pick whichever, Chicago or Cleveland, you want to win the Central. Tampa Bay, Texas. Yankees are the 4 seed. The second place team in the Central's the 5 seed. And right now, I believe it's a tie between the Twins and the Mariners. Both teams below 500 for the 6th and final playoff spot in the American League. National League, Dodgers with the best record in baseball, Brewers with the second best, Braves leaders in the East by just 2 over the Phillies. Cubs, Phillies, Marlins, in that order, your wild card teams. So Cubs would host the Phillies. They're a half a game ahead of them in that best of 3 series. And the Marlins would go to Atlanta for a best of 3 first round series. So Yankees would host either the Twins or the Mariners, or no, excuse me, they would host whoever's in second in the Central.
Yeah, right now I've got the way I have it listed for whatever reason, and I don't know if this is accurate on the site that I'm on, but the Mariners are listed as a wild card team. The Twins are not, even though their records are identical.
Maybe they have the head-to-head advantage because I think that's the first tiebreaker.
And I didn't go through their schedules to see if they have played. But right now, the Mariners have the final wild card spot, and the White Sox have the division.
Well, they have identical records, so, that site must have researched as to why the Mariners are ahead of the Twins. So there you go. Magic numbers, 47 and 58. 58 days, 8 weeks Wednesday to the start of the NFL season. 58's a linebacker number for the most part.
We'll get into that in a bit. We've got a lot of 58s. We got some really good 58s. But I will say, I dumped Netflix a few months ago. I wasn't using it. When I was up at the Hope Lodge after my stint in Moffett, the wife and I were watching a bunch of stand-up. And we watched what we wanted to watch, and then we weren't watching it anymore. And I've got a bunch of different services, but I dumped HBO and I dumped Netflix. And I'm probably going to dump a couple of others here when I finish the shows that I'm watching because I'm not paying much attention to them anymore. I may get Netflix tonight. I'm not joking. I think this is a fun home run derby. They've changed the format of the home run derby. It is now back to, I believe, 20 pitches per round, as opposed to the timed event that many people thought the guys got tired out. By the time they were at the end of this thing, they were just out of gas. That was a lot of swings. So now they've gone back to what I think they used to do is they got X number of swings. And I think the 20 pitches, I don't believe, obviously if the pitch is in the dirt, it doesn't count. So they get 20 swings now each round. And it's a pretty good field.
Well, and 2 Phillies also. Both Harper and Schwarber, I believe, are in it.
Right. But you've got Rice and Contreras and Caglione, who we pay a little bit of attention to. Junior Camanero's in it, and he's a stud. So I have a bit of interest in this.
Also, the Japanese stud the first 2 months of the year for the White Sox, and then he got hurt and spent 4+ weeks on the injured list. He came back 10 days ago, and he had 18 homers when he went on the injured list. And yet it's funny, they're talking about he might be on the trade block.
That's been out there for a while.
What part am I missing? A, he hit 18 homers in 2 months. And B, you're tied for first. Why are you trading anybody? You've had 3 consecutive 100-loss seasons. Isn't it about time to try to win?
David, I would argue that that's the reason they're doing it. This guy hasn't played in a month and a half?
Right.
They've been winning without him. And if they have flaws that they think they need to address, here's a bat that put it this way, David. What if you sent him to the Marlins for some pitching, if that's what they think they need? I mean, David, isn't this a guy that if you want to do a good old-fashioned horse trade, something good for something good, isn't this a guy you could get something good for?
You mean call the Pirates up and say, hey, give me one of your pitchers. We'll give you this guy who hits the ball out of the park. Oh yeah, you got 3 starters on the injured list. I guess. All I know is he's cheap and he hits home runs.
Now, I don't know if I'd get rid of him, but I don't know what they're doing at that position to think that they can. But he's been talked about for a month of being on the block. Like this is.
I know. It'd be creative. I'd give him this, while a part of me would shake my head if it's a true. When the deal is made, people are going, "Wow, they both got what they needed." They needed a bat. They went and got one. White Sox needed pitching. They went and got an arm, and a good arm. I mean, I need a starter, though. I mean, he could be a number 4 starter, but I need a starter.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. But I just look at. I would find it fascinating if they move him after winning the rights to him. Well, there is a subtle bit of irony here.
Right. But he'll be in the home run derby tonight.
By the way,
if you're the White Sox, you're like, tear it up, big fella. Trade value goes up. Tear it up.
By the way, speaking of baseball, so they had their draft. And because of the NFL draft and the NBA draft, because the NBA draft's been extremely popular for, 40 years. Maybe even longer. I mean, since the Magic and Bird draft, this has been a pretty popular draft. But all of the commissioners now go out. And hockey's done their thing. Hockey's probably been third because they've always had an event. Because for the young Canadian player coming out of junior hockey, it was a big deal. Had many friends who attended the draft because they were drafted. Had one kid that I was good friends with, now man, who was told by 2 different teams they were going to draft him. Went to Toronto for the draft, sat through the whole thing and never got picked. With his mother and father, was like heartbroken. Got a free agent deal, played a few games in the NHL, good for him. But that stung him. That stayed with him. But baseball's draft used to take place without any of us knowing, basically. It was a, phone-in draft, basically. And so now they do it like all the other leagues. And I'm not going to say his name because I may botch it too. But when you're the commissioner of the league, shouldn't you have a good idea how to pronounce the player's name or names who are going to get drafted in the first round? Don't you think you should, I don't know, David, spend an hour one day memorizing the pronunciation of all the names?
Mark, I don't even know if you need to spend a minute with the pronunciations, but Rob Manfred's assistant should at the very least have all the names phonetically spelled out.
Right.
Because that's what I did with golf when I was spotting for Buck. I would make sure that every golfer's name, if it was a question as to, do I pronounce that E or not? And never mind if it's a Japanese pro, South Korean pro, or what have you. But I just phonetically spelled out the golfer's name right underneath his or her name. Got to. Yes, Mark, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And it's not the 23rd guy taken.
No, it was the first overall pick.
And this guy was going to go 1 or 2.
Yeah.
The furthest they thought he could fall was 3. And that 2 teams would be making a mistake.
Right. He was the consensus number 1 in the draft. So to mispronounce his name as the commissioner of the league, and I'm with you. David, obviously when I worked in the lower levels of the minors, it was tougher. You had to go to I sat with the other broadcasters, and if there was ever a question, I didn't even try to learn the name, and I would sit across from whoever and say, how's he say his name? And I wouldn't say, how does what I think say his name? I would say, how's he say his name? And then I would write it down phonetically because I'm a moron. So I wouldn't even try to spell it. I would just spell it on the sheet phonetically. So when I looked at whoever number 17 was, I could say Matt Domarski and not screw it up.
Mark, I'm so with you. I spelled out people's names as to how they're pronounced, not to how they're spelled. Because when I looked down, I needed to, who's that again? I got to see it phonetically spelled out. Who cares how it's spelled? I'm broadcasting. I care how it's pronounced.
When I worked in the IHL, which was a top minor league, I used the Bible. There was an NHL book. And Doc Emmerich did it. Doc Emmerich did all the pronunciations for the book. Every player who was in that book, past or prior or current, were all spelled phonetically next to their name, if there was a question. That's embarrassing.
Very, very embarrassing. You got to do better than that, dude. Come on,
Yeah.
Rob.
Can't wait to get Seth's take on this on Wednesday.
Rob,
we
love the pitch clock. Okay, we do. Instant replay, the pitch clock. Okay, tap your head. Love it all.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
This is Miller and Moulton.
A couple things here. First off, I was wrong about something. I forget who it was in the chat room. I had said that Annika is in the celebrity thing playing from the same tees as the guys, because I watched 5 minutes yesterday and I saw par 3 and I thought she used the same tee that the guys did. But a few people have let me know she doesn't tee off from the same tee. So I apologize. I was wrong about that. I do just want to give an endorsement. When I had to move to Jacksonville, it was very last minute, and I mean, I had to get the house from holy blank we're moving to I got to get out of town was less than a month, if not like 2.5, 3 weeks. And Mark sold my house and did a phenomenal job. And I mean it. Listen, friendship's friendship, but business is business. Mark was fantastic. His homework had homework on the house, the neighborhood, comps. He got it done quickly. The price that he picked turned out to be perfect. And it got done perfectly. It got done. And so, honestly, if you need an agent, I could not rave about the job that Mark did. We joke on this show, sports talk show hosts, Miller and Moulton, but as a real estate agent, he's terrific. So, and to ambient, Carl Banks was drafted in the early 80s and played to the mid 90s. So, I don't even think we're that old.
He was really good. I mean, there are plenty of, and I don't know what David thinks because I don't know. I'm biased because I love him. He went to Michigan State. He's from Flint. So I followed his career. There are people that think he is very much a borderline Hall of Famer and should have gotten in. I don't know. That's tough. I would tell you this, if he played for a few other teams, and I don't know why because those Giants teams were good, but you play on a great defense, other guys get in. Like if he were a Steeler and they did that, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not joking.
But LT sucked up all the oxygen on those Giants defenses because it took Harry Carson 20 plus years to get in the Hall of Fame. And people were like, what's taking so long? In fact, it took so long that Harry got so frustrated. He said, don't even discuss my candidacy again. And he stopped paying attention to it. And he was in Hawaii on vacation and he got the phone call. But yeah, Carl's, I don't ever think he's gotten close either.
No. But I mean, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but man, he's walking up the steps, David. You know what I mean?
Well, Mark, I would argue he's a Hall of Famer at the position that he played, but the position he played was not pass rushing linebacker. It was set the edge and you can't run on this side of the defense linebacker.
Right, but that was a time we ran the ball a lot.
Exactly. Right.
Kind of important. Right. I mean, in that decade, David, and I guess because I also watched him at MSU where he was just a monster. A monster. He was so good.
And people are bringing up Giants and retiring numbers. They haven't retired many. LT and Sims got retired off those Giants teams.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Miller _Moulton on X. Thanks so much for joining us. Whit Watson, talk a little golf. Huge golf week last week. When you have two PGA Tour events going on in the same week, it's going to be a busy week. Never mind a Champions Tour major, an LPGA Tour major. This week, though, everybody basically just taking a step back, going, okay, big boys, Open Championship. It's all you. Take it away.
Happy for Tom Kim. I like him. He's a lot of fun. He's emotional. He's got some game for him to win at the Scottish. I thought that was cool.
He had some really good
I'm not a Zach Johnson guy, but damn, was he good at that senior event. It stinks that Firestone is, just such a big course growing up. And I think they're done with that event there this year.
Yes.
That's a shame. A lot of history on that golf course. There was a time that they called it the World Series of Golf at Firestone for many years. It was a big deal. You got a 10-year exemption for winning that tournament.
Well, also, this was before, the whole FedEx Cup. That was the last event of what was considered the tour season. And then we went into the winter tour, silly season, that sort of deal, in which basically none of the big boys played golf from Labor Day on. It was just all the guys who needed to keep their card. They're the ones who played golf.
Fighting for the top 125 on the money list.
Right.
But the magic numbers are, David, 58 and 47?
Correct.
Wow. 58 days until the Super Bowl rematch of Seahawks-Patriots, 47 days until week 0. And David, when you go 58, you're now getting into some elite company in the National Football League.
Well, whatever do you mean, Mark?
Well, we talked about him a bit because I think he celebrated a birthday Friday. In fact, I know he did, and we do today was a day when. I'll just start with the guy that was the heart of the steel curtain. One Jack Lambert. Don't know if there was a 58 that will get to him. There are quite a few, quite frankly, in the area code, because the list of 58s is really damn good.
Well, and there are a bunch of very good 58s, Carl Banks, Wally Hilgenberg. We can all come up with, was Shane Conlon 58 or was he 56?
He was 58. Yeah, I mean, he's not on the list, but our friend of the show, Kim Bocamper, for you Dolphin fans, Kim Bocamper was a 58.
But there's 3, I think, preeminent 58s in the NFL. All 2 Hall of Famers and 1 who will be his first year eligible. Well, we think so. I mean, then again, it's the Football Hall of Fame voters, and they've become idiots lately. So, who knows? But you mentioned Lambert. How about the late Derek Thomas?
Right.
I mean, just a monster out there. And might have been the fastest first step coming off the edge of any pass rusher ever. And then a guy who's still playing, Von Miller. I mean, that's 130 sacks, Super Bowl MVP. I mean, that's going to be, I believe, a first ballot Hall of Famer. But there are other 58s on that great Bears defense in the mid 80s. Wilbur Marshall. But terrific linebacker number.
If you go back to the 50s, because that's when you have to go back for when the Browns were good, Max Speedy, Hall of Famer, wore 58 for the Browns. That was a compliment and a shot all in the same sentence, David. I don't know if you caught that.
Why was it a shot?
Back when the Browns were good, the 50s.
Well, unfortunately, Mark, it went right over my head because I just sat here and said, well, he's telling the truth.
Right.
Can't get on him for that.
Jesse Tuggle wore 58 for the Falcons. He was really good.
He was.
He's not on the great list.
And he's a Ring of Honor type guy. Not a Hall of Famer, but he's a Ring of Honor guy. Now, I don't know. See, I believe you can be in a Ring of Honor and we don't have to retire your number.
Absolutely.
We're just acknowledging that, hey, you were a really good player for us.
For our team, right.
For 10 plus years, and you deserve to be in our Ring of Honor. You're one of the best players we've ever had.
Hockey, Chris Letang for the Penguins has played there forever. Really solid player. When you're a defenseman and you play as long as he does. You have to be such a smart player, David, because you have to use your energy wisely. And the fact that he's still productive, his first year was 07.
Mark, I was going to say, did you mention Chris Letang because he's both numbers, 47 years old and wears number 58? But in all seriousness, isn't he 40 this season?
I think you're right. I mean, 20 years in the league.
Yeah. I think he's 40. Either he turned 40 last year or he turns 40 during this upcoming season.
Baseball, probably got to go Papelbon. There's a bunch of guys that have worn 58. Papelbon, they had some really good years. I had to laugh because it goes on the list of names that I would never want to be named. And it's your last name, so you don't have a choice. Doug Fister wore 58. Every time I see that name, it makes me giggle. And then for the Bucks there, Jeremy Hellickson wore 58. I mean, for the Rays, rather. Sorry. And there's only been one NBA player to wear the number 58. He played 2 years ago, one season. He's Australian. Jack McVeigh is the only 58 in NBA history, for what it's worth. He never gets a shout out. Why not give him one here?
I'll tell you what, if I'm him, I'm checking the list every year. I want to be the only. Okay, do you know I'm noteworthy in NBA history? Really? Yeah, I'm the only guy who ever wore number 58.
So there's a little trivia question for you. Had some fun with the poll question today because it's Cameron Crowe's birthday. The writer, movie producer, has written a lot of movies. I put the 4 big ones. He's done other movies, he's done a bunch of documentaries that are really good. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Jerry Maguire, Say Anything, and Almost Famous. I picked Fast Times. Jerry Maguire is dead last on that. Like, I'm not even a fan of the movie.
What?
Yeah, whatever. Show me the money. Yay. The little kid. Yay.
You had me at hello? Okay. I mean, there are lines in that movie.
It's cheesy. The lines are cheesy. They don't last the test of time with me. That's all right. If you like Jerry Maguire, it's fine. Out of those 4 movies, it is so far dead last, it's not even funny.
I feel like you're talking about Jerry Maguire as if the movie is Bon Jovi and the other movies are more metal.
That's a great comparison. I mean, you're right. I mean, you think of the soundtracks alone on Fast Times, Say Anything, and Almost Famous. Incredible soundtracks. I slide Singles, another movie he did, which maybe is it might be the best. Might be the best soundtrack of any movie, in my opinion. Singles is ridiculous. But Jerry Maguire doesn't do it for me. I don't know what to tell you. Didn't do it when I saw it the first time, doesn't do it now. And if Fast Times is on, I'm stopping what I'm doing and watching it. Hello. Aloha, Mr. Hand. And, Cusack with the boombox. I love the boombox, David. I had great boomboxes in my day. It hits me there.
And the pen. The pen is the gift.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
NY Jets, I have not talked to her. She was leaving the city last night after the show, and I was going to bed, so I knew I wouldn't hear from her last night. She's not awake yet, I hope. So I'm sure I will hear at some point how great it was later today. I like everything about Fast Times, Alan. I like Damone. I like the whole football angle of him, Damone making it. Did I tell you about the 14-point spread? Or 7-point spread or whatever it is. Yes, I like Phoebe's boobs. But Spicoli, come on. I had a geometry teacher, and I can't recall his name, my sophomore year in high school. Honors geometry, tough class, tough teacher. First day, he writes his name on the board and underlines it, and he looked like Mr. Hand. Me and the kid next to me are just trying not to spit up. And I always thought it was Mr. Hand the whole time. I mean, that guy was in The Sting, for crying out loud, and he plays the teacher in Fast Times. Like, The Sting for me is on the short list of greatest movies ever made. And I don't even know if it's Redford and Newman's best movie together. Close. It's either that or Butch Cassidy to me, but.
So apparently the studio didn't want Newman.
For Butch Cassidy or The Sting?
No, for the Sting. And Newman had to talk him into it. He's like, it's funny. I see the movie as the old guy handing everything down to a new guy, the new guard, and he's like, I kind of think I'm that guy. Imagine you're Paul Newman, you have to talk the studio into hiring you. Talk about idiots.
What about Casablanca and Citizen Kane? I don't know what.
I think he's saying for best movies ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can honestly say I've never seen either of them. Casablanca's in black and white, made in what, the 50s?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Oh.
I would like to tell you honestly, NY Jets, I will, but I can honestly tell you that the odds of that happening are slim and none. For me to watch a movie these days is difficult. And for me to go back to watch a movie that's, 80 years old, probably not. There are other things that are far more recent that if I were to watch a movie without my kid, there are some movies I'd actually like to watch that are within the last 20 years that I've not seen, because I've not seen a lot of them.
I actually paid for a movie over the weekend. I don't mean in person, but sitting at home.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Whit Watson will join us 1 hour from now. A lot of golf going on, a lot of majors going on in a short period of time between the PGA, LPGA, and Champions Tour. And it's Open Championship Week at Royal Birkdale. Whit Watson to join us in an hour.
Quick sidebar question for the audience. David, you can answer too if you'd like. Over the course of the week, what are we going to hear more? This could have been a poll question today. What will we hear more? David say the Open Championship, or David saying
Hurricane, Hurricane.
And does that count as two or just one?
Just one.
Okay. It's going to be close. Boy, didn't realize the daughter was pulling hard for Norway.
Really?
Yeah, she likes the Holland guy. Don't ask me why she likes him.
I think great
she knows who it is.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with rowing the boat. She likes Holland. She likes Holland. She likes Messi. So if they would have played one another, don't know who she would have rooted for.
Well, listen, I was rooting for England, much to my mother's chagrin. But, man, did Norway get hosed.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, my goodness. There's a buddy of mine who sent me a text, and he's not a soccer guy, but like a lot of us, he's given the World Cup a shot, and he's watched a lot of it. And he sent me a note in which he said, the more of this tournament I watch, the more I think the fix is in. He goes, Argentina's getting every call, real or imagined. He goes, and boy, did England get every possible call in that quarterfinal with Norway.
Oh, the ball hit the damn camera.
How is that missed? Listen, when it's happened in the NFL, and it's never happened in a game that I've been a part of, okay, I don't know. Don't you wonder how the hell is that missed when it happens in the NFL? And it happens like 3 times a year where the ball hits the wire for one of the cameras. Yeah, right. But don't you wonder, how the hell they missed that? All right. Same thing in the World Cup.
To not catch that's just mind-blowing to me.
Well, and you've got the Norway bench pointing and yelling at the ref. It hit the wire. It hit the wire. That play should have been dead.
And they have a rule for it. That's the other thing. They actually have a rule in place of where the ball's supposed to go.
So, and I mean, that was England's goal in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Otherwise, it's 1-0. Never mind. I mean, that second Norway goal that they took off the board. We've been watching this tournament now for a month. Have you seen that call made?
David, this is one of those, no, we haven't.
Okay.
This is one of those calls that to me is kind of like in basketball when Shaq would lean on a guy and the guy would tumble 40 feet because Shaq simply just outweighed him. and all of a sudden there'd be a call. Like, I don't know who the player is now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just the sheer, because Holland's getting mugged. Like,
He
they're
is.
doing everything but pulling his pants down. And he pushes the guy, which they all do.
Right.
But he is 6'5", 240, so his shoves have a little more impact than other shoves.
Well, and the guy made sure that his shove had the most impact possible because he was off Broadway, acting. In fact, he got up, Mark, when they were walking, getting ready for the goal kick. He was walking to midfield saying under his breath, "I love Broadway." That's how much he was acting.
Look, I don't even get into the acting because that's part of it. And I've just learned to accept it. I'm not gonna waste time and energy being upset about something about a sport that I watch once every 4 years, and that goes on, and the fans of that sport are okay with it. So I accept it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. I've accepted it. That was a case of bigger guy throwing little guy down. That anybody else does it, it's okay. So once it went to VAR, David, I knew they were taking the goal off the board.
Not only that, they did it against a star player.
Yeah, but it was a star team that was scored upon. From a money standpoint, after the money the U.S. puts in, England's next.
I know.
Okay, let's just.
I know.
Come on now.
I know. I'm agreeing with you. I know. I just thought Norway got robbed. I was rooting for England. I was glad they won. I also thought Norway ran out of steam. They got to about the 80-minute mark and they were cooked. Cooked. But anyway, we digress. Whit Watson, a little less than an hour. Can I just throw something out there? I want to ask you to do something that's going to be very difficult for you. Because you don't like, I'm sorry, what?
Listen to Def Leppard?
No, not. Well, actually, it's in the ballpark when you really think about it. Because I think Def Leppard is the band that you like the least of all the bands we've ever talked about. I know it's top 3.
Oh, no. It's my Notre Dame of rock and roll.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring up, however, number 2. Like, I don't know if it's Michigan who's number 2. I don't know if it's somebody else. When the UCF fan base got all over you for about 2 years, I know UCF had moved up to number 2. But Michigan.
Yep.
Okay. So they did this investigation, and I'm just assuming by the cost of it, this law firm that was hired to do the investigation. By the way, why would you hire a law firm? Just a quick tangent. You want to do an investigation into your athletic department as to whether or not there's a bad culture? Shouldn't you hire another guy or gal who is an athletic director? What's a law firm know about the culture of an athletic department? I digress. So we're back. $11 million Michigan paid this law firm to do this 7-month investigation. I'll say that again slowly. $11 million. They're going to release their findings, and they're going to decide whether or not the athletic director should remain the athletic director on Thursday. Okay. So, Mark, I'm being very serious here, and I know this is not your favorite place, but let's try to be as objective as we can. What's more important to the University of Michigan? And I'm being as drop dead honest when I want an answer to this question. What is more important to the University of Michigan? Winning or culture?
Well, David, it was an easy answer 5 years ago, 6 years ago. No, I'm not joking. Before Jim Harbaugh got hired, and even when Jim Harbaugh got hired, because they hired a Michigan man and they brought him home, and he was a good coach and they wanted to win. And Jim said he was going to do it the right way, the Michigan way. Culture was always more important there.
I think you could go all the way back to Bo.
Right, but right. That's what I mean. But I mean, but even when they hired Jim Harbaugh, David, they thought, who did they hire? They hired a Michigan man. Who did he play for?
That would be Bo.
Thank you.
Right. They were going to do it the right way, the Michigan way, blah, blah, blah. And sure, they had some problems in other sports. We all know about the Fab Five and the controversy. And right, we know we're not perfect by any means. But let's be brutally honest. I mean, if the University of blank, that was not Michigan, did what the Michigan football program did on their way to winning their first national title in 25 years, what would the Michigan fan have been saying about the University of blank? They cheated. They would. I mean, because they did. They cheated. And they cheated, quite frankly, on a scale that a lot of people believe has never been done before. No one has ever cheated to the degree that Michigan did on their way to winning that national title. What just happened in the spring with the University of Michigan? They won the basketball national championship, their first one in over 35 years. Now, there was, not alleging Dusty May or anybody did any cheating, but I'm just saying the University of Michigan this decade has won a football national championship and a men's basketball national championship.
It's more than the winning. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No. Okay, but I would argue it's not more than the winning because they completely not only looked the other way with Harbaugh, they made excuses.
I understand. No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is it's more than just the winning. It's more than just Connor Stallions. The hockey coach had some things go on that caused him to be fired. They had Juwan Howard as a basketball coach prior to May. And, well, he was getting in fights with coaches. Another Michigan guy was, well, doing things that were very un-Michigan-like.
Absolutely.
They had another coach in another sport. I don't remember which. It was a women's sport. It might have been like gymnastics or something like that, where something went on. Obviously, we all know the Sharon Moore situation with his mistress and all of the things that happened there. She is now suing the university. Yes. There were other coaches who broke computers and were downloading things and doing stuff. I mean, you look at the litany of coaches that have been fired. What I'm most interested in this is Wade Manuel, the athletic director, going to be fired? Or is he going to resign? And I think it's the latter, because I think if he was going to be fired, it would have already happened. I think he is going to resign because he's a Michigan man, and he is. He's been there a long time, and he's very loyal. But if they fire him, what's he do next? If he gets to resign or gets to work out his buyout or whatever the case may be, because he's the one guy who, my guess is, David, knows where all the bodies are buried, if you know what I mean. So the end game here is what I'm fascinated in. Because the diehard Michigan fan will just say, we're doing what everybody else was doing. Maybe you were. I do think the cheating was at a level that no one's ever done before. And you're never going to be able to get me to think otherwise, because I don't know of another case in which that it was. But Michigan had had enough of Ohio State being the big boy on the block.
Right.
They were beating you.
Right.
Every year. They did that Ohio script in your end zone. And it seems trivial to most of us and funny to others. But those are things that Michigan alumni, Michigan alumni are, for a Power 4 school, skip the Harvards, and I mean, maybe Stanford has more rich alumni than Michigan. But David, Duke, I doubt it. Like, I'm trying to think of big boy Power 4 schools academically. Like, I quickly looked. There are 4 partners at this law firm who had their law degree from the University of Michigan. It's a great law school. You want to be a doctor? Go to the University of Michigan. Their medical school is unbelievable. Oh, you want to get an MBA? How about Michigan's MBA school? It is one of the best universities in the world. It truly is. And those folks that sit at the big house and watch that Ohio strip, it pissed them off. They'd had enough.
Okay, but
And
then
they sold their soul, David.
right. But then how can you all of a sudden, after sitting by and giving at least tacit approval, if not complete approval, for what you're doing as an athletic department, and now we might have a culture problem? I mean, please. By the way, Ward Manuel makes $1.9 million a year as athletic director at the University of Michigan. He's got a contract that runs 4 more years. If I'm Ward Manuel, you pay me, I'll resign.
Oh, and they'll pay him. That's what's going to happen this week.
Well, okay, then I'll resign before Thursday. I'll make it easy on you. That's $7.6 million. I want it Wednesday.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Adam, you think in the United States, England Argentina will be the most watched soccer match ever?
It turns out it's going to be England and Mexico. That was more watched than the American games. No, Jets, it's pour some sugar on me. I think it should be banished from all radio stations for the rest of time. But that's just me.
Mark, did England, Mexico do 30 million? Because that's what U.S. Belgium did. And that was just on Fox. Although I probably didn't do much on
44.8 when you combine the two. Telemundo and Fox.
For England, Mexico?
Yes.
That's
U.S. Belgium did 42 when you combine.
stunning. Adam.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home, at least in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete. Final hour of the show, Live Oak Lake City, Southwest Florida, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, Venice, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, Whit Watson to join us, talk some golf in 35 minutes time. World Cup tomorrow and Wednesday, semifinals. Home Run Derby tonight on Netflix. All-Star Game Tuesday on Fox. And I think USA Network is your place to turn Thursday and Friday for the Open Championship. But we'll look it up and make sure that I'm right and that the Moulton Rolodex isn't wrong again.
Yeah. World Cup semis this week, they're early. I mean, the games are being done so that Europe can watch them at a reasonable time.
Yes, they sat down and figured we're going to have a lot of Europe in the quarters and a lot of Europe in the semis.
Well, I mean, they if you take Europe in totality, it spends more money than the U.S. does. Maybe not North America when you add Mexico and Canada's rights in, but it's about equal. So, after all, this is a television show. There are more people interested in this tournament in Europe than there are in the United States, even though the numbers for this have been outstanding. I'll be curious how good they are for the semis. I mean, they're going to drop off significantly, obviously, but we've watched this tournament. So I'm curious as to how many people watch going forward because it's midweek. Most of us are working. You and I aren't, David, but most of us are working. And obviously the U.S. is long gone. So it'll be interesting to see what the U.S. television numbers are. You know, the Telemundo numbers have been outstanding as well. So I don't know. What do you think this thing's going to do midday on Thursday and Friday, or on Wednesday, rather?
I don't think it's going to do, like during the break, I figured that the U.S. Belgium, when you combined Fox and Telemundo, was the most watched match of this tournament. And that was a week ago tonight. That was a Monday night. And you told me, au contraire, mon frère, the most watched match so far of this tournament, combining Telemundo and Fox, was 2 Sundays ago. That Sunday night thriller, and it was, of England at Mexico. And England won 3-2. They had to defend down a man for the final 30 minutes of the match. Okay, you had an hour weather delay, which pushed it more into prime time in more time zones. Mark, I don't think, first off, I don't think France and Spain on Tuesday is going to draw anywhere near that.
No, I don't know if it'll draw 10 million in the U.S. Like, I'm not kidding. It will when you combine the Telemundo numbers, okay? But on Fox, will it do 10 million? I'm going to say no. I don't think it, probably 6, 7. I got to get those numbers to go out of my head. That kid thing, 6, 7, makes me answer that with too many things. I think it's just been put in my head because now I can just see my daughter doing the thing. She's like, what numbers did you say? But I mean, if it does over under 7.5 million, France, Spain, Tuesday, 3:00 on Fox, not Telemundo, just Fox, 7.5 million. Where would you go?
Over barely.
Okay. Now, I do think England, Argentina Wednesday. If I do it at 11.5 million, where would you go?
Wait, England, Argentina?
England, Argentina Wednesday, 11.5 million.
Oh, over. No, I think that first off, both those countries outrate France and Spain. I think one of those countries in the semifinal would outrate France and Spain combined. Messi in Argentina or England? No. I think that one's going to do 15 million.
Okay.
Which I know is a big number.
Yeah, that's huge. For the record, the combined U.S.-Belgium numbers was 42 million when you add the Fox and Telemundo. For the England 3-2 win over Mexico, it did nearly 45 million. Did 21, almost 22 on Fox. It did 23 on Telemundo and Peacock. By the way, it peaked at 25.7 on Fox.
Well, the U.S.-Belgium did 30 on Fox. So
right.
So it must have done 12 on Telemundo then. And by the way, even the 30 million, the 24 to 30 million, 24 million is like a really good Sunday 4:25 NFL game.
Well, if I have this right in front of me, David, I'm seeing that last year's NFC AFC championship games averaged 47.4 million.
Right. But I mean, that's just Fox, obviously. There's no other network. And
I understand.
Right. But I'm just saying to put in perspective 24 million, that's a really good 4:25 game on either CBS or Fox. But yes, I will say last year's championship games were not the best matchups. Now, I know when it's the NFL, that doesn't often matter. But the Rams-Seahawks, okay, that's not a great ratings matchup. Denver-New England, and Denver without their starting quarterback.
Good, though.
It's pretty good.
It is Boston. Come on now.
It is, but it's not Brady and the Patriots. Okay, they didn't produce TV numbers last year that were really in the ballpark of Brady numbers. But we'll see this year. They're going to get a lot of primetime games. We'll see if people are still into them.
But if they do, if they get over on both those numbers, I don't know if Fox will be happy about 8 million for France and Spain. But if they do 15 plus for England, Argentina. I think that's pretty solid because I'm telling you, the Telemundo numbers will equal, if not beat, both of them. So the combined audience for the soccer matches in the country, you know, I mean, if that's 15 on each, that's 30 million. I mean, that would be a monster for a non-Mexico, non-U.S. game.
I think the Messi draw is huge.
I got you. But I mean, again, that's, you know,
I know.
Not a lot of Argentina. I mean, there's a decent amount of people from Argentina that have, you know, that live in this country, but not like other places that are south of the border, if you will. So it would be fascinating to me if it beats that. But you're right. I mean, they have pumped Messi throughout this tournament, you know, the advertisements, and they have for a while now. Since he's come to the States, he's been a big part of different companies' advertising campaigns.
And if you want to stretch it, who are the two athletes that have been most prominently showcased during the advertising of the World Cup? I would argue they're Messi and Beckham. And what two nations are represented by Messi and Beckham? Never mind the fact that Beckham owns the team that Messi plays for, but you got to be a soccer geek to know that. So, but those are the semis, top 4 nations in the world. If you go by FIFA's rankings coming into the World Cup, and I don't know if they've changed during the World Cup, but coming into the World Cup, Argentina was 1, Spain was 2, France was 3, and England was 4. So, ironically, you've got 2 versus 3 in the first semifinal and 1 versus 4 in the second semi.
So 3:00 Tuesday and Wednesday, and then 3 p.m. the final on Sunday. They play a third place game 5:00 on Saturday. I didn't watch NCAA third place game, so I'm sure as hell not watching a third place soccer match. I don't need to see who Penn is playing in the third place game.
So when I was broadcasting the University of Scranton basketball, they were very good. They made many of Final Four, and they won a couple national titles, finished second a couple times. But that program played quite a few loser out games. And I asked their longtime coach, who won like over 500 games, I asked him, I go, how do you motivate your team for a third place game? And he said, I don't motivate them. And I looked at him and I go, well, they don't want to play the game. He goes, I scream and yell at them so much that they want to shove it up my so much that they go out there and they play angry. Because at the time, Mark, he had never lost a consolation game. He was like 5-0 in consolation games. I'm like, how the hell do you go 5-0 playing for nothing?
Is that like the Ravens preseason record? I'm trying to.
I think it is. I think it is. Maybe John Harbaugh just screamed and yelled at him for those 5 years that they didn't lose the preseason game. But anyway, just that was his key. He said, no. I didn't try to motivate him. I tried to get him honked off.
I have to be, I mean, obviously, if you're coming back the next year, you got to still play. If I'm a senior and the coach is still yelling me for a third place game, I am yelling right back. I'm not trying to shove it up his during the game. I'm looking at him before practice and going, why are we practicing? You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm done with practice. Seniors, let's go have a beer. Like, I literally would laugh I would laugh in his face. I would.
Kind of like Bob Huggins when he was at Cincinnati in West Virginia, and he invited the players to yell back at him, and you'd see the best huddles all year in college basketball would be Bob Huggins huddles, Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience, and With a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Thank you, Michael. We haven't done the over-unders as much. We did them usually at the end of the show when we do What's on Tap. But Michael, at length, we talked about how bad the attendance was for the Rays-Yankees series. Because it used to be, and I think I was talking to you about that, literally, is that, that used to be 25,000. Same with the Red Sox. Anytime the Yankees or Red Sox showed up in Tampa, they were near sold out. And the Yankees and Red Sox fans have quit coming, in the way that they used to. They're like, yeah, whatever. We're bored with this too. They had 18, 18, and 19 because we talked because the Monday game was across from U.S.-Belgium. So I thought personally there'd be a big jump Tuesday because I did think sports fan was like, I can wait till tomorrow to see that. But the Marlins, when David's talked about trading for players, I'm like, it doesn't financially benefit the Rays. They're not going to draw 6 more people unless, now, when he threw out the Ellie De La Cruz, and I am now fascinated with that. I mean, I don't know if in Cincinnati it's being talked about. This David bringing up Ellie De La Cruz and the possibility of trading him. I'm so would love to see that. And I'd give up the flipping farm. If I'm Tampa, I'd give up a frontline starter now. I'm not a real estate attorney, Sonny. I'm a realtor. I can write you a listing. I can help sell your house. I can't transfer deeds. You can do that I believe at the courthouse for most deeds. You don't need an attorney for a lot of that stuff. What day was that, RCB?
Adam, what does a team gets better organically mean?
I mean, I mean, our CB, it was 3,000 more than they had for one of the Yankees games. So 22.5 is that on a Saturday for the best team in the American League. They had 15 on Friday, Spitz. So, and then when they got pounded on Sunday, 24. So I guess 22 and 24. I mean, what's it hold now? What's capacity?
25.
Oh, it is. Oh, so they've lowered it that much, huh?
Yeah, they sell virtually no upper deck seats.
Good God. So that's the smallest in baseball by what, 10?
Now, Larry, was it open?
The Athletics are small. So PNC's the next smallest park. At these are all over the place.
Now, Larry, they sell like the first 5-6 rows of the upper deck, but they don't sell like when you come out to the upper deck. They don't sell above that. You go down.
Cleveland is next at 34.8. Well, yeah, the Athletics are at the bottom because they're in a minor league park. You're right.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Whit Watson will join us in a little more than 15 minutes as we kind of talk about where golf is right now. The very controversial split tours. Get Whit's thoughts on that, plus the Open Championship, final major of 2026, coming up from Royal Birkdale, beginning on Thursday morning. You're going to have that on, aren't you, while we're doing the show?
Yeah, but I've gotten better at not locking into the TV. It'll be more commercial break than anything else.
Well, and remember, this is NBC's coverage, so it'll be commercial break. And
no, I meant our commercial breaks.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, it's an NBC event. I mean, nobody takes more commercials during all their sports than NBC.
But the Open, and I love it because I'll get it on. I'll probably change my morning routine on Thursday and Friday to get up a touch earlier so I can spend a few minutes having my coffee watching it before the show. I'll probably try. I mean, I usually I come up in the morning, get everything set, and then go about my business of the morning. And I usually get back up here at like 10 to 6. That's my goal, is to be sitting down between 5:50 and 5:55. Like, I want to be up here by 5:30 on Thursday and Friday so I can just sit and enjoy my coffee. In fact, I will probably, because I make my French press for myself, and then I have the wife's coffee, the coffee maker set for the wife, so when she gets up, she can just turn it on. I will probably take her from 8 cups to 12 cups because I'll need a little more juice Thursday and Friday. I'll probably have to dive into the wife's coffee for those 2 days.
Wow. It's a lot of analysis.
I love the Open Championship. I hope the winds are howling. I hope it rains one of the days. Because the great part about the Open Championship to me, David, when it gets nasty, is not just how tough it is for the golfers. Those are the best golf fans in the world. The politest go to Augusta. We get it. The most obnoxious, apparently, are on Long Island. But the best golf fans are those in England and Scotland. because they show up for this tournament in droves no matter what the weather is. It can be 45 and raining sideways, and there are still tens of thousands of people there, all in their gear, all ready to go. I mean, David, we've all at one point or another, as a fan, sat through a football game. Well, I guess maybe not in the South. Most of us that live north of the Mason-Dixon line at some point have sat through a football game in the elements for at least a while. I know I did it Michigan State games with my family growing up. I'm guessing you at a Giants game or two, David, did a game in the elements. We've all seen the Buffalo and Green Bay fan brave the elements, the Denver fan, a lot of places, even the Seattle fan, they got to deal with some rain. But we don't enjoy it. Like, I've been to some games in Pittsburgh where I've had the hand warmers, I've had gloves, I've had a hat. And I remember one of the games, it was so cold, and it was a decent game. And my wife and I looked at one another. Now, we'd been in Florida for a while. I'm like, you ready to go to the bar and watch the second half? She says, absolutely. And we couldn't wait. She had an Irish whiskey. I had a bourbon. We went to Jerome Bettis's bar and ordered brown liquor because we were cold. It does, I don't know what they let them bring in for the British Open, David, but damn it, those folks stay and they sit in those damn bleachers, and it's just awful.
Well, I think there's a difference, sitting through cold or sitting through really hot. That's one thing. And that's not enjoyable, but that's one thing. What always amazes me is when people sit through water. And it could be 80 degrees out and it's raining like a what. Or it could be half that temperature and it's sideways. And those are the fans in which I always go, man, it's one thing to be cold or hot. It's another thing to be soaked. And I don't care if you got, the poncho, the hunting jacket or whatever, you're getting soaked. So that's the stuff that always gets me. It's like, man, now you know why they build domes. Have to sit through this. I mean, what did we say now?
Hours at the
hours.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, in football game, 3.5 hours. And I get you on the wet, but if it's a warm rain, if it's a summer rain, if you will, you're wet. I mean, I've done concerts in that when I was younger. I've done a ball, different games where when it's raining, when it's warm, it's like, guys start taking their shirts off. Sometimes the women do too, and that gets exciting. But when it's cold and raining, that's worse than snow. You and I have talked about that. There was nothing worse. Like I played high school golf. It was in the fall. And so you'd get some of those late October days where it was raining, no lightning, and you're out there going, this couldn't be more miserable. I think it's why I don't like to play in the rain to this day.
Plus the other thing over there is, when you're in the States and you're at a stick and ball sport, there's assigned seating. That's another reason why they stay. Those grandstands are packed. You get up to dry off or go get something, you're losing your seat. But anyway, Whit Watson to join us in 10 or so minutes. Kicking around on this Monday, looking back and looking forward with the World Cup, looking back and looking forward with Major League Baseball. 5 of the 6 divisions. The battle for first is 5 games or less. The AL Central is tied. The AL West is a game and a half. The National League East is 2 games. The Rays' lead over the Yankees is but 3. Great job by the Yankees getting the split in St. Pete and trailing in the top of the 8th Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in our nation's capital against the Nats and coming back to win all 3 of those games. Good job by the Yankees going, Mark, when last week started, one team was going to go 5-2, the other was going to go 4-3. How many of us would have said the Rays going 5-2 and the Yankees going 4-3?
Well,
And
Mr. X, as I like to call you on the side, because no one likes to put an X next to a team's name in July, quite like one David Moulton. Let me ask you right now, $20. Who wins the East, Rays or Yankees?
tell me when Judge is coming back.
I can't.
Rays.
White Sox or Guardians, or is it the Twins or even the Tigers? If you were to, obviously the odds you'd get on the Tigers would be pretty damn good because they're still, I think 5.5, 6 back, something like that, 6.5 back.
By the way, when we were talking about the White Sox apparently putting that Japanese slugger on the market, you know who really should trade with each other? The White Sox and the Guardians. The Guardians could desperately use the bat, and the Guardians have a surplus of pitching. I'll take the Guardians.
I will as well. Mariners, Rangers, Astros.
Mariners.
I'll go Astros.
Wow.
Do any of these teams that are once tied but are currently out by tiebreakers, Twins, Red Sox, Astros, Orioles, Jays, Tigers, only 3.5 back, do any of those teams make the postseason?
Well, you went kind of fast there, but
Twins, Sox, Astros, Orioles, Jays, Tigers.
Okay, not the Orioles. Any of them?
Yeah.
Tigers.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, I didn't. I think the Mariners are a mess. I don't trust the Rangers. And as long as they don't make trades, as long as they don't decide to sell, which I don't think they're going to now because they're playing better, I think it's when healthy, isn't it the best? When healthy, isn't it the best roster? I have to be honest, Larry. Detroit pizza was not a thing for me. It didn't even. It didn't even matter. Good luck, Hank. It didn't even matter. It literally? I left Michigan a long, long time ago. I left in '94, so it was not a big deal. I'd go to Greektown and get hot dogs, or I'd go to Lafayette or American Coney Island and get a dog. That would be my advice to you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. We always love having him on the show. He has his own radio show when he's not doing all that golf play-by-play that he does around the country. He's Whit Watson. You've seen him, Golf Channel, part of NBC's coverage, PGA Tour Live on ESPN+. His radio show is Making the Cut Saturday mornings in both Orlando on 96.9 The Game and in Jacksonville on 1010XL. You can follow him on X at Real Whit Watson, Real Whit Watson. Whit, David and Mark, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning. Hope everybody is getting a little bit of a respite from the heat. We were just talking off the air about how this is such a challenging time for our golf game unless you're on the tee at like 7 o'clock in the morning, right? Because the indexes climb pretty fast by about 11 a.m. And I'm not a blazing heat golfer. I don't know about you guys, but I would rather just wake that sucker out.
Well, I do, because the guys I play with don't get up early, and obviously I do a morning show, but it's the only time. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because the air doesn't move first thing in the morning and it's miserable, and it's super hot in the afternoon when the air starts moving. So pick your poison this time of year. But you're right. But it's the only, it is the one time we can play 3-hour and 10-minute rounds. So there's that too.
Amen. And I hate to sound like my parents, but hydrate, please. Everybody, bring water. No joke. If you're going to go out.
Yeah, golf in Florida these last few weeks has been like the World Cup. About every 4 or 5 holes, you need a hydration break.
A hydration break?
Yes.
Yeah. I swear it's funny listening to the football hardcore purists talk about those hydration breaks and how much they hate them. And the fact that FIFA did it at every stadium, even the ones that had roofs, they made them take the hydration break so that everybody had the same format. That's actually been a story at this World Cup, I think. But anyway, neither here nor there.
All right. We head to the Open Championship, and something happened on Friday afternoon that hadn't happened since Memphis in 2022. Scotty Scheffler doesn't play on the weekend, missed his first cut in nearly 80 attempts. How much, if any, do you take that into consideration for him this week?
Before I answer that, I'll add a nugget on top of that nugget, and this is from our friend Justin Ray, who is the golf stat guru. Since the Rolex rankings were created in 2006, that was the first time that the world number one for the men and the women missed a cut in the same weekend, because Nelly Korda missed the cut at the Evian, which is a major for the women. Does it affect Scotty? No. Absolutely not. He'll be the betting favorite. He was 6-1 as of Friday, last time I looked before my show. And it will not affect anything going into Southport and Royal Birkdale. I think he's still going to be the guy that everybody else is looking at this 154th Open. It was a shock, and it was about 4 years since he had missed a cut. But given the way he's played the rest of the year, and I know that he's set the bar very high for himself, I don't think it affects his chances at the Open.
I actually think it helps him. I thought I heard an interview in which he said that he hasn't spent a lot of time walking Royal Birkdale. So he said, I actually get a 2-day head start to my, Open preps. And he was already out there in shorts over the weekend. So, I actually think it may help him. What do you think about, and Rory's not the only one, but he's the loudest. This split tour, I think we talked about it over a month ago. You knew it was going to be controversial, but Rory's big on these national opens, Canadian, Scottish, and a few others. And he pretty much said, yeah, this Scottish Open ain't going to be a big deal in 2 years. It's probably not making the regular tour, if you know what I mean. And he's like, listen, they've put millions into this course. They've raised the purse to $9 million when I guess it was like $4 million at the beginning of the decade. And he's like, I can't believe we're walking away from tournaments like this. What's your thought on, the split tour, what events should be featured, etc.?
Well, no one knows. You can guess what track A and track B or track 1 and track 2 are going to be by looking at the current schedule. And you can guess which of those sponsors will want to pony up $20 million, which is the rumor that what they're calling the championship track events, which would be the 4 majors, the players, and the playoffs, plus probably, maybe, we don't know, but Orlando, Arnold Palmer could be one of those. Memorial could be one of those. You would assume that Pebble Beach would be one of those. But it's up to those sponsors if they wish to increase the purses to get them to where the tour wants them to be. Track B, the Challenger Series, they're calling it, would be everybody else. It would be West Palm Beach. It would be Valspar. It would be John Deere. And maybe it would be the Scottish Open. I think Rory is just sort of cheerleading for an event that he likes, an event that he's done well at. No one knows what track A and track B is going to be other than those educated guesses. And it's all a matter of scheduling. And when you do separate them into 2 tracks, you could theoretically play events on the same week and save yourself from some of the schedule issues that you have now. You could play track A and track B concurrently. whether we like it or not, this is where it is going to go because it simplifies in the eyes of the tour's new leadership. It simplifies the competition. Everyone knows exactly what they're playing for. If you don't play well enough on A, you get relegated, just like European soccer. If you play well enough on B, you get promoted, possibly even during the season if you're playing really well. And that's where it's going to go. That's as early as 2028.
All right. There's, the talk of it being 24 events, and that includes the majors. So 20 events on track A. I'm not going to get into which tournaments are, which tournaments aren't. But you had 8 signature events currently, or we have 8 signature events where all the big boys kind of have to be there, even though Rory's chosen not to be. Now, now if it goes to 20, could this hurt? Whit, I mean, the signature events have done well. We've watched the signature events because everybody, for the most part, is there. If we go to 20, doesn't this get kind of like what the tour used to be, where guys pick and choose? Is this necessarily good, whether it's for competition, TV ratings, however you want to take it? Is this good?
I think guys are always going to pick and choose their schedules because they're independent contractors. There's no collective bargaining. There's no league. There's no, union president out there making statements. They're independent contractors. So guys are always going to choose their own schedules. I don't think anybody, I think Rory, he's never said out loud, but he has said to an extent that he's trying to reduce his schedule at this age with a young daughter at home. He's trying to play fewer events, not more. I think that's always going to be the case, no matter what you call it, whether it's 20 or 24 or track A or championship. Guys like Scotty Scheffler are not going to play every event. They're just not. So I don't know what the tour can do about that. They would prefer to have everybody there to keep the sponsors and the TV networks happy. But renaming it or reducing or increasing the number of events, unless you create, the only real number I guess a tour player has to worry about is the minimum to keep his membership, which I think currently is it 11 or 14? It's a low number. And the tour hasn't said anything about changing that in 2028 or what that's going to look like. So until we know what that number is, players are going to pick their schedules.
Of what we've heard, the only thing that bothers me, for what it's worth, and I've stated this a few times, is since they do get to pick their schedules, I do think they should be allowed to play 1 or 2 Challenger Series events, whether it's a home course, whether it's a loyalty to a sponsor, like Spieth and Scheffler want to keep playing the 2 Texas events. I think it'll really bother them that they're not going to be allowed to. And you got others, they're whatever the tournament is that they have a fondness for. Apparently now they're not going to be able to keep playing those events. Since they're independent contractors, that just sounds almost illegal to me. So that bothers me, but I'll just have to deal with it.
Oh no, I agree with you. And the phrase they're using is play down. You can't play down to the Challenger Series. And I agree with you. I think that I'm not sure. First of all, how do you enforce that if it's not collectively bargained, if it's not a union? How do you enforce that? And why? Why in the world would you tell Jordan Spieth and Scotty Scheffler not to play the Texas events? I completely agree with you.
Yeah, just Mark, for television purposes, I'm assuming they're going to televise this Challenger Series as much as possible, even if it's just one guy a week that decides, listen, I love this tournament. I love Des Moines. I'm going. Okay, great. That gives that tournament, that network, something to promote.
And I guess the way it's, I'm assuming this is all fluid, right? They can wake up tomorrow and announce a new set of rules. But the way it's been described publicly is that there are so-called battlefield promotions. If you win twice on the Challenger Series in 1 year, you can automatically move up to the Championship Series. But you can't, as we just said, you can't play down on a given week. They'll have to figure that out, because to me that does feel like you're going in one direction only. And if these players want to add a little pizzazz to a local event that they've been done well at in the past, or pay back a sponsor that helped them out way back when, I think they should be allowed to do it.
All right, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood up among the favorites in this. Give me somebody off the board, so to speak. Robert McIntyre, Oberg, Wyndham Clark, that's like the 30-1 guy. Someone you've got your eye on this week.
I think McIntyre is a great pick. He was a popular pick at the Scottish Open this past week. Royal Birkdale, it's going to be, from what we hear, it's going to be hot and it's going to be fast. It may not look like a traditional Open Championship, so you don't need to have a traditional Open Championship winner. You could see it, for lack of a better word, an American-style player winning this Open. Bear in mind that Hao Tong Lee played well at the Open last year, as did Matt Fitzpatrick, who you mentioned. Justin Rose is having a great year. Who would be surprised to see him in his mid-40s contending at another major championship? I still believe that Scheffler is the favorite, but I believe that this course is going to play a little fiery, and that may open the field for somebody else that we haven't thought of yet.
Well, and hot by Royal Birkdale standards is, I think, around 80. Okay, so hot for them, obviously not hot for what we've been dealing with. But the thing that I always loved about this tournament, Whit, is that you don't have to be long, because usually you get so much roll. It's why a Zach Johnson could win the Open Championship. It's why the older golfer, Norman at 54, Watson at 59, Jack was in the final group on Saturday at 58. They don't have to bomb it. They just, make sure you're in the fairway. The ball will roll 80 yards, which to me means instead of 20 guys, 30 guys who could win a major, I think half this field could win.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the same golf course. It's not exactly apples to apples, but look at Tom Kim winning in Scotland this week. I mean, he's not a guy that bombs it, but he's very precise and only 24 years old. He's in his fifth year. And that was a hell of a field that he beat. He beat McIlroy and Fitzpatrick and McIntyre, all these people we just talked about, to win in Scotland. So yeah, if that's the kind of golf that you like, where it opens the door, as I said, for a lot of players to walk through, then this is a great week for you. And by the way, it will continue with remember, we still have the Women's Open Championship and the Senior Open in this Open of Majors. So you've got a number of opportunities to watch some of that UK style golf in the next few weeks.
High Tongue Lee, for what it's worth, 14-1 just to make the top 10, 200-1 to win the whole thing. Spieth won in 2017. I don't know if he's worth putting money on to win it, but man, I can get decent odds, 5.5-1 for a top 10. Can he pull that off?
For a top 10?
Yeah.
5.5? Yeah. I mean, he's searching. There's no secret about it. He's looking. He's got a two-way miss, and there was a time when he was more likely to make a 30-foot putt than a 5-foot putt, and now he's not making anything. And I didn't realize it had been almost 10 years since he had won that Open there, but that's where he's been, a guy that set the bar so high at such a young age, and now that he looks average, we wonder what's wrong with him. He's just another guy on the PGA Tour right now. But for a top 10 at a major, I don't think he's completely out of it. I might go along with that.
Got about a minute or so left. How important is this tournament for Bryson? I mean, he's stunk in the majors this year. If he bombs out of this one, I mean, will people just jokingly call him a YouTube golfer?
He has not made the cut at any major this year, and he's looked terrible at majors this year. And I don't know. He's got a lot on his mind. He spends a lot of his free time right now traveling with Scott O'Neill, who's the CEO of LIV, looking for investors. He's been part of the pitch meetings, and his contract is up with LIV. He publicly is determined to stay with them and help them survive. That's what he says, much more so than John Rahm, who has more time left on his contract but hasn't really said anything publicly about how long he's going to stick around. So DeChambeau's busy, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Whit, we always appreciate your time and insight. Whit Watson, talking golf.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I think he just retired, Alan, but yeah. He loves the game, and I think he likes the women who attend games.
And also, I think the last team he played for in the Czech League, he owned half the team or what have you. So I think he was trying to help the box office. There were gambling rumors with Yager 20 years ago. I don't know about now. There was a big bookie who actually came out 20 years ago and said, I own Yager. He owes me so much money.
According to what I searched, his net worth is $50 million.
When Phil in 2004 had to change club manufacturer, and the word was it was over gambling debts. And then also, Callaway came in. They paid off his gambling debts. They wrote a multi-million-dollar check to Sports Illustrated to kill the story about his gambling debts. Think about how much Phil had to owe, because it's not like Phil didn't have money in 2004.
So I chipped a tooth. Turned out it was a crown. That temporary crown, yeah, that came right off over the weekend.
Nice.
Fortunately, there's no pain.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't think we're going to get another temporary crown. I think we're just going to call them today and say, do I really need this? Can you give me an answer? Because I'm not coming back in.
I'll come in for a full-time crown.
Well, I've already been fit. Yeah, that's coming the end of the month.
Right.
There's part of me right now, if the tooth doesn't hurt, why do I need this? I already paid for it, it's too late, but why do I even need it? I could have just gone with this and been fine. It's literally like the back tooth. It's like, whatever.
Mark, you needed it because they needed you to pay them. They have to stay in business.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the final hour. It's the pro hour. It's the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. You know, probably should have thought of this a couple hours ago. You've got your Cameron Crowe poll question. It's his birthday today. What's your favorite Cameron Crowe movie? And I know, because you're a huge fan, there's even a couple that don't make the list because we only have room for 4.
Right.
That you really like, that you would put on the list if we had unlimited room.
Well, I would have taken Jerry Maguire off and put Singles, but I know better. Most people don't, a lot of people don't even know that movie.
But based on apparently how Jerry Maguire was doing early in our polling, you probably could have done it and gotten away with it, because apparently nobody liked Jerry Maguire.
No. It's doing fine. It's it's tied for third in the YouTube Twitch vote, and it is third all by itself on the X page. Fast Times winning on the X page, Almost Famous second. Almost Famous and Say Anything tied on our YouTube and Twitch page, while Say Anything is dead last on the X page for what it's worth. But I had Almost Famous, Say Anything, Jerry Maguire, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Those are the 4 that I chose. Those are really his 4 biggest movies. He's done some documentaries, and he did Singles, which I really liked, that kind of brought the grunge sound to everyone via the theaters, and had a bunch of the bands in them, like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, and the guys from Pearl Jam were in the movie. So, but yeah, Jerry Maguire, I think he's 69 today, if I'm not mistaken. That actually seems right, now that I think about it. Yeah, he's 69 years old today.
Well, I know a few weeks ago you mentioned there's a crew of actors who are all in their mid to upper 60s now, in which we're like, oh, damn, make you feel old.
Right.
Tom Cruise is mid 60s. I think he just did it the other day. Isn't Kevin Bacon like 68 or 69?
That would freak you out. That was like, what?
But if you do the math, because wasn't Footloose like 84?
Right.
So that's 42 years ago. Do the math. I mean, how old do you think Kevin Bacon was in the movie? Mid-20s.
Right. And he was in Animal House before that.
Right.
Diner right around that time. So highly underrated movie, Diner, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. I guess I think so highly of it. I don't think it's underrated, but maybe it is the Gary Player of movies.
I don't know if I'd go about it. That's giving it a lot of juice. That's giving it more, but it's an ensemble cast. It's the fact that the Baltimore Colts are such a big part of it. The
Yep.
movie Diner we're talking about, and you got to go back. I got to look and see when that movie was made. I mean, that is an old movie, but it was the debut. One of the first pictures for a lot of big actor. 1982 Diner was made, so it's only a 44-year-old reference.
But of course, the irony that the Colts didn't remain in Baltimore, but like another year and a half. Because Elway and Marino, that draft was 83. And a year later, they were in Indianapolis. I think Chris Hinton, who the Broncos drafted and got traded to Baltimore in the Elway deal, I think he played 1 year in Baltimore. And then he was an Indianapolis Colt. But we digress. Miller and Moulton. 47 and 58, by the way, the magic numbers. In case you weren't around for
Day on
that.
the show.
I'm sorry, what?
Jack Lambert Day on the show as far as the 58s go. But we went through the 58s, Derek Thomas, Von Miller, a bunch of other great 58s, Carl Banks for you Giants fans, Chris Letang for you hockey fans. So there was a few really good 58s out there.
Yeah, 3 or 4 great ones and a bunch of very good 58s out there.
Yeah, guys that are borderline, Ring of Honor guys, in our opinion. Not necessarily Hall of Famers.
But All-Star Game in baseball, it's tomorrow. It's on Fox. Tonight, the Home Run Derby is on Netflix. And Mark, this is probably the sports question that would have gotten 13 votes if we had asked it, as opposed to the number of votes we get when we ask you, like, Cameron Crowe's and your favorite Cameron Crowe movie. Gets a lot more votes. But I'm curious, A, how many of you normally watch the Home Run Derby? And B, for those of you that do normally watch the Home Run Derby, will you not watch it tonight because it's on Netflix? Either you don't pay for Netflix, or I can't be bothered dealing with another streamer.
Well,
to me,
if you have it, that's to like, if you don't have it, that's the thing, that if you don't want to buy it for a month just for this, I get it. But if you have Netflix and you're saying, I'm not going to watch it because I have to stream it, well, then what the hell do you have streaming services for?
But a lot of the sports fans, we've read our feedback. You read the text line as well as the chat rooms. For whatever reason, sports fans are annoyed, not all of them, and I don't even know now if it's a majority, but a decent number of sports fans, Mark, are annoyed when they're finding out that their sport or team or game of choice is on a streaming service that night. They're like, not another streaming service. And I think it's the whole commercials thing that a lot of us do not want to watch commercials in any way, shape, or form. And we know clicking away from the commercials when it's on a streaming device is annoying.
And David, I get that. If we're watching something on ESPN Plus, I'm watching my Red Wings on ESPN Plus, and there happens to be 3 games on YouTube TV that I want to watch. What is it you're switching to during the commercials tonight? No, I'm asking. What? I mean, is there a news program that's knocking your socks off that you got to get to on NBC? Because I don't watch network television, and this is All-Star Week. So I get your point completely during regular season, whatever. I
Right.
do. I get it on the weekend. If you might be watching, I'm guessing some of the Open Championship is going to be exclusive to Peacock. There's a solid chance that at some point, Saturday or Sunday morning, whatever the case may be, maybe Peacock exclusive. I've not looked up the complete viewership lineup for the Open Championship. I get it. But what is it on Monday night of All-Star Week that you're flipping for?
Right. There's 2 WNBA games tonight.
Oh, my fault.
And
I apologize. Holy cow. How could I miss that?
well, and you could know by the tone of my voice, I didn't say
I
that
know.
that was the viable alternative, since a lot of people would never watch if we chained them to the chair and threw away the clicker. But I mean, that's it. There's no World Cup soccer even. There's 2 WNBA games tonight. That's it. That's all that's going on. So, but I'm just curious, how many of you turned off and see, we saw this. This is, baseball is playing catch up to the NBA and the NFL on a lot of fronts. And this is one of them. They're trying to get involved with the streaming services because they know with the streaming services comes money. And they're a distant third right now when it comes to rights fees. And they want to have NFL, NBA like TV deals. And they have a chance to do it coming up after the 2028 season and after the 2027 lockout. Boom. But so they're on Netflix for the Home Run Derby. Okay.
And someone did type in Monday Night Raw. I get that gets a huge audience. I understand it. And if that's your thing and you're between Monday wrestling and the Home Run Derby, then that's your thing. I'm not even going to discredit Raw. I haven't watched that entertainment product in easily 20 years and have no interest in it whatsoever. And I'm not against wrestling. I used to love it. I don't say bad things about wrestling. I can talk, Georgia Championship Wrestling with you all day long. We're going to go from Statesboro to Rome to Valdosta, and we're going to finish at the Omni in Atlanta. But today, I don't pay any attention. But I don't know what else would be on tonight. Like that's,
Right.
But I did just look. I canceled my Netflix subscription a while back. I wasn't watching enough. It wasn't worth what I just realized is $20 a month. When I started it, it was like 15. So to me, is the Home Run Derby worth $20? Because I'd actually like to watch the Home Run Derby tonight. I would. Is it $20 worth? Probably not. Like I can say, even though I'm interested in the Home Run Derby, I'm not getting Netflix for tonight. I'm still trying to see if I'm going to get Netflix for the handful of NFL games they're going to show. Are those games worth it to me? We'll see.
When is the first Netflix game? Is it the second game of the year? Is that Rams? What channel's Rams Niners from Australia on?
I don't know the answer to that. I do not know. I can find out quickly, but I won't be able to get it before we go to break. So there's a tease for you.
There you go.
I don't think it's till the holidays, is my guess.
Okay.
No, they've got the game in Australia. So
Okay.
so will I watch the game in Australia? Probably not. I don't think it's worth $20. Miller and Moulton, hopefully worth $20.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, Paul. I mean, you dub yourself as a music person. The Cameron Cove. I mean, say anything. I mean, say anything is like, I'm not being a jerk. I think you're a little bit older than I am. Say Anything is a movie that hit me in my late teens, early 20s, I believe. So it genre-wise, it fit. Also great music. Jeremy Piven's fantastic. He has a bit part. He's funnier than hell. But it's more of like a high school, period movie. Fast Times is obviously Fast Times. I don't know how you didn't see that, Paula. That had to be right in your high school days. I'm amazed. Almost Famous is a terrific music movie. It's basically his Cameron Crowe's biopic. It's kind of his life stories. It's semi-autobiographical, but it's fantastic. But the movie Singles, while I'm not telling you to watch the movie Singles, although I like it, the soundtrack for that movie is one of the great music movie soundtracks of all time. It's my favorite. Well, I mean, it's a different genre, baby Jules. I would put them neck and neck. Not to mention the backstory of Fast Times is pretty good. Cameron Crowe at 20 looks so young. He convinced a principal to let him go back into a high school to do his story. And think about what they were talking about. Think about what they were talking about in Fast Times at the time. They did bring up abortion in a movie in the early 80s. Teenage abortion. Judge Reinhold in the bathroom. We didn't see that in movie screens either. I mean, the girl, Phoebe Cates showing what's her face how to do a certain oral thing in the lunchroom, and all the kids. Empire Records has a great soundtrack, Javier. Yes, it does. I love Dazed and Confused. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's absolutely hysterical. And I'm with you, baby Jules, because you can take kids from the 70s, 80s, and my guess 90s, and everybody can point to different characters and go, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. I mean, as iconic as McConaughey's thing, I can think about 5 guys that were, freshmen stay the same age. Their high school girls stay the same age. I can think of about 4 or 5 guys that were on that wavelength when they were 20. Dazed and Confused soundtrack's great, but it ain't singles. Empire Records is the couple songs that I still listen to a lot. I think the is on that one, by the way, Javier. I think. I'm not positive. I'd have to look up. This Is the Day. Great song. Now I got to look up that soundtrack. Shut my door if you're doing work, Maddie. If you need to. All right. No, it was not.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, the home stretch on this Monday. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. All coming up.
Talking movie soundtracks during the break, David. Because the singles, which didn't make the list, is a great soundtrack. I would think the Say Anything soundtrack would be pretty good too. That had good, Cameron Crowe he's obviously covered Zeppelin as a writer. So,
Right.
was married. They're divorced now to the guitarist Wilson. I think that's Nancy, but I'm not. No, that's Ann Wilson. Sorry. And she was in he put her in Fast Times when they first started dating. The scene where Judge Reinhold has the goofy hat and he's delivering the food from the fish place.
Right.
And he thinks he's flirting with the gal next to him who's making fun of him for the hat. That's Cameron. I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend at that time. That's Nancy Wilson from Heart, for what it's worth. Little trivia for you.
You know how much I love the Vision Quest soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack.
So, yeah, music does a lot for movies. Okay, more than I think we realize.
Well, and it's harder now because the rights fees you have to pay for certain songs have gone through the roof. And it's Cameron Crowe knew Zeppelin. He was writing for the part of Almost Famous is literally his story of him being the writer for, I think it's Led Zeppelin, the Allman Brothers, and I forget the other band were the three that he toured with. So they're all kind of stories about that. And the line in Fast Times where Damone's telling the dating advice is whenever you get the chance, play side 2 of Led Zeppelin 4 or side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4, whatever it is. Well, Zeppelin wouldn't give him, Stairway.
Right.
But they gave Kashmir, I think. But they wouldn't give him the song he wanted. They obviously only gave him Tangerine and Almost Famous. Great story about School of Rock. They wanted Immigrant Song for the one scene. And Zeppelin doesn't give their music, still to this day. Very rarely do they give it to movies. And Jack Black apparently, they flew to England and begged, had to show him the movie. and begged. And the story on with Almost Famous, because they were showing it. Cameron Crowe tells the story. He's showing the movie for, I think it might have just been Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. I don't know if John Paul Jones was there, but they flew over with the movie to show them the movie, to try to get and he knew them, to try to get Zeppelin songs in the movie. And the scene where the singer's on acid on top of the roof of the kid's house at the party, and he says, "I am a golden god." Page says something to the fact of, "I didn't say that." And Plant goes, "I did." And at that moment, Cameron Crowe looked at the other producer, whoever was there, goes, "We got it. We're good. We're good." So just some, so when I go down my rabbit holes watching shorts on whether it's YouTube or TikTok, I've seen some of these stories. So, and obviously someone brought up like Quentin Tarantino, from Pulp Fiction to Reservoir Dogs,
Right.
To Kill Bill, all of the soundtracks and the songs. He's revived. Son of a Preacher Man, no one knows that song. It was a little song from the 60s that Dusty Springfield did. He puts that in Pulp Fiction, all of a sudden it gets a revival. And these biopics, whether it's the Queen biopic, the Dylan biopic, I know the Springsteen one kind of bombed, so it didn't really do anything to help his music out because the movie didn't do anything.
Right.
But a lot of these, they've revived so many songs over the years. And even TV shows. Sopranos did it for Don't Stop Believin'.
The Blues Brothers movie for Aretha. And a lot of those artists, of that genre, was a big boon for a lot. They were able to get deals and make music again in some cases when they had been totally shoved to the side.
And they made sure, you can go back, Aykroyd made sure musicians got paid.
Yes.
That was it. It wasn't so much because the rights for those were nothing back then. And you're right, David. For some of those musicians, they really did them a solid, to say the very least.
And to work them into the movie the way they did, it really helped quite a few artists and a whole genre, which had really been, forgotten about. And Aykroyd was right. Great music, timeless, in fact. Not going to be the smoothest transition. Although if you go to an NBA game, a lot of their in-game entertainment is music. But two things I want to throw out there that I don't know if we all saw over the weekend. First off, Wemby signed the first max deal he's allowed to sign. He pulled a Brunson, though. He signed a year before the Supermax. He's going to save the Spurs $52 million over the next 5 years. And he said, when asked, "Hey, we got a good young team. I want to keep it together. I'm interested in winning." He goes, "Besides, they're paying me $250 million. And he all but said, what's another $50 million over 5 years going to do for me that the $252 million deal I'm already signing isn't? So that's number one. And number two, did you hear about Bam Adebayo walking up to Tyler Hero and apparently punching him in the mouth?
I did.
Apparently, Bam unhappy with some comments that Tyler made after the trade, in which Tyler questioned just how good a defensive player Bam is, particularly for what he's making. And so Tyler, I guess, was in Vegas because he's coaching a youth team. And they were there to play a series of games. And then at night, he goes to one of the summer league games. I think it was Milwaukee's, because that's where he got traded as part of the Giannis deal. And Bam, I guess, just walked right up to him and punched him in the mouth.
Well, it was either he punched him, then Hero did an interview, but the story wasn't out yet.
Right.
And like right after the interview, Shams comes out and says they apparently got into a fight. So it was, the interviewer's like, "I didn't know. Like the timing of the whole thing was very close." So I thought that was wild. And then apparently Draymond on a podcast in the last couple of days announced that he made a super pitch for LeBron. Like they were somewhere together golfing and he went all out.
For like 2 days, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently, LeBron has got the golf fever. Apparently, he's hooked beyond belief. Okay, that part.
Jordan wants to take him to a course right now and see if he'd play for money.
Well, there's talk that in Cleveland, okay, about making him a member at Firestone. Okay, that whatever we got to do to get him, and if he's into golf, let's do it. So we'll see if, but apparently he is like all of us when we get the bug. That first time that we get the golfing bug, we can't play enough. We're buying new everything that we can. Okay, clothes, shoes, clubs, balls, the whole deal. Apparently that's LeBron right now.
I have a friend that's a member at Firestone. I have another friend who weasels his way every summer to a trip to see him so he gets to play Firestone. It's a fact.
Does the friend who's a member at Firestone know that the guy is using him?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. But the guy who's a member at Firestone, literally at our club, he's on the short list of 5 nicest people there. He's not a good guy. He's a great guy. He really and truly is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And he, I think the other guy invites himself every year and he says, yeah, I'll send my wife to Florida for a week so she doesn't have to deal with you. And you can come up and stay at my place and we'll play Firestone.
Right. He's like, listen, I've been used for worse things. If it's golf at Firestone, let's go.
Right. Great course in Akron, no doubt. Miller and Moulton, good, bad, and ugly. Today was the day when. What's on tap? Next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I did not, Deadstroke. I very rarely go to ESPN unless I see something on X that I think we can get a segment out of. I very rarely go to that website. Not part of my. I kind of go to X for a lot of things to see them. And then I go to the Score app to get scores and little stories. I go to the Post because they actually do a pretty good job sports-wise. If something happens that's breaking, I check it. Like when I'm doing the starting five, I will check it. I have my MLB trade page up from ESPN. I mean, literally, here's their top stories. The Michigan AD, associate coach for the Warriors, NASCAR, Summer League, WNBA, and the Celebrity Golf Tournament. Yippee! It's just so self-serving now. I mean, I'll go through each, when I'm doing the starting five, I will go through each, MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL page, obviously. And I go to a few for the NFL. I probably check 2 or 3 NFL things just to make sure I don't miss anything. But ESPN no longer another thing with streaming, I don't watch it. I threw it on in the morning for a little Sports Center, which is rare for me because I was up. Maybe the shortest What's on Tap segment in the history of this show.
That's a good point.
I mean, at least tomorrow you got a World Cup game on there. I mean, this. No. I still watch it, Deadstroke. Don't get me wrong. I don't with streaming, I don't watch much. I don't just put the TV on the way I used to. That's all. That's all I would say is I just don't. I don't just, I used to throw the TV on and then immediately, I think it was 401 or 403, right? 403 on cable. I would immediately put the TV on, click 403, and then just leave it there. Our TV's not on nearly as much as it used to be since I've gone to streaming.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Monday edition of Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Much slower sports week this week. Slowest one of the year in all likelihood. Even though there's some big things going on for those that still love the baseball all-star game, home run derby tonight, the World Cup semifinals, the Open Championship. Man, there's still stuff going on, but not like there usually is.
Yeah, I have to be honest. We probably should have taken a day or two off this week, but 1, I don't have the best ofs ready, and 2, what the hell else am I going to do? That's really what it boils down to. It's not like I'm going anywhere or doing anything. It's like I'd get up and sit on my butt for 4 hours. I'm going to be up. Might as well do the show, right?
Well, I understood it more when you were in Tampa for those 3 months. Okay. And I understood when it was like, hey, this is the highlight of my damn day. Okay. Otherwise, I'm sitting around in a room staring at these walls. I'm not even allowed to go outside. I'm breaking all kinds of rules when I do go outside. You're going to take the show away from me? Listen, you could take the other 39 weeks of the year off. Okay. I need you for 13 weeks a year. Okay. It's while I'm fighting leukemia in Tampa. Once I leave Tampa, I don't need you anymore.
No, I need you. There's no doubt that I need, but I'm really like, what was I going to do this week? I mean, the highlight of my day today was my daughter walking in during the Whit Watson, and you're going, do you want breakfast? Yes, I do.
I thought there was a possibility of Thursday and or Friday this week because, ladies and gentlemen, Mark determines when we do a show because he's the one that has to edit the best of. Okay, so if he wants to edit a best of, then we may take a day off. Okay, but if Mark's like, nah, I don't have it, well, then we're doing a show.
I mean, we can still do Thursday or Friday. I still got time. It's just going to be a lot of the next couple days. We'll have to discuss this later. In the meantime,
it's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1923, the Hollywood sign is officially dedicated in the hills above Hollywood. It originally read Hollywoodland, but after a renovation in 49, they dropped the last 4 letters. 1930, the first World Cup matches were played simultaneously in Uruguay. France would beat Mexico, and ironically, the U.S. would beat Belgium. It has become the world's most watched sporting event ever since. 1939, Sinatra makes his recording debut. 56, this other guy, he sang a little bit. Elvis releases Hound Dog with Don't Be Cruel on the flip side. Palmer wins the Open today in 62. 6 shots clear at Royal Troon. The next year, Bob Charles wins. It's significant because he's the first lefty to win a major title. 68 at Carnoustie, Gary Player wins the second of his 3 Opens, beating the aforementioned Bob Charles and Jack Nicklaus by 2. It was the 5th of Player's 9 majors. David, I did not know this, and maybe you did, but this seems like a weird trade to me. Today in 72, the Rams and the Colts swapped owners. Irsay becomes the owner of the Colts, and Rosenblum becomes the owner of the LA Rams. That just seems like we always knew the Irsays were a little weird, but this is not the one that just passed. This is his old man. Trading LA for Baltimore? Interesting. 85. The biggest concert day in U.S. and English history. Live Aid at Wembley and JFK in Philly. They would raise over $70 million for African famine relief.
Did you see the 4-part documentary that CNN did on it?
Parts. I've not seen the whole thing.
Well, first off, they got President Bush, 43. They got him to cooperate. And I thought CNN did a great job of showing just how important he was in the fight against AIDS and HIV in Africa. Okay. And part of the reason why was because Bono, had taken up the cause, and Condoleezza Rice was a huge YouTube fan.
Wait a minute, but Live Aid was about famine, wasn't about HIV and AIDS, was? I mean, it was about the
right, but they kind of combined the two when they approached
Gotcha.
when they approached President Bush, because it was early 2000s. But yes, but through Live Aid, because Geldorf was going to part of the other one, and etc.
Gotcha. 2008, Anheuser-Busch sold to InBev for almost $52 billion. And a year ago, Sinner won his first Wimbledon, beating Alcaraz in 4. Julius Caesar, Jack Kemp, Paul Prudhomme all would have celebrated birthdays today. Roger McGuinn from the Byrds is 84. So is Harrison Ford. Tony Kornheiser, 78. He's still working every day. David Thompson, 72. Think he can still dunk?
Yes.
Michael Spinks is 70. Cameron Crowe, 69, the crux of our poll question. Spud Webb, 63. Yadier Molina is 44. Leon Bridges, really good singer. If you don't know who it is, go listen. He's 37. And Cody Bellinger, who I think David brought up earlier in the show, he's 31 today. Oh, you brought up Bregman. Sorry, not Bellinger.
By the way, is Michael Spinks the smartest boxer of all time? He fights his way up from cruiserweight, light heavyweight, makes history, beats Holmes to take him out after his long reign, and he sets up the big money showdown with Tyson. He gets knocked down twice and out in 90 seconds. Never fights again. Okay? I'm not saying he took a dive, because he clearly didn't. Okay? But he got up from that, he got paid, and he said, why do I have to fight anymore? And what'd you say? He just turned 70?
Yeah.
So, when Tyson knocked him out, wasn't that like late 80s, 89, something like that? So
seems right. I don't have the year, but that's timing seems right.
So he was like a 33-year-old boxer, gets the big payday. He ain't never going to get a payday like that. He said, I'm done. See ya.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to California for the good, where Cortland Corwitz of Sacramento was on vacation in Tahoe over the 4th of July. His daughters noticed a bear hanging out by the garbage as they were packing coolers for a 4th of July boat trip. Girls said the bear, instead of running away like normal, kind of came towards them. So Dad said, I need to check this out. And, the bear charged him. Fortunately, he had the bear spray with him, and he grabbed a can of it as he walked out and was able to shoot it at the bear. And fortunately, the bear took off and didn't take him with him. Good for the quick-thinking dad. For the bad, man, you can't fix stupid. I got to tell you. A gentleman was arrested on charges of being in possession of a gun in Indianapolis. He was a felon, so he couldn't have a gun. So in order to deter police from seeing him with the gun, he did what any normal person would do. He posted on Instagram with said gun. Several guns. He's not allowed to carry one. Did I mention he's a felon?
Yes.
So fortunately, officers used a drone to get a little look at him. He had the gun with him then. And then they tracked him down with a canine. That's got to hurt. Finally, the ugly, we go to Gainesville, where Marshall Avner went nuts inside of a pet store. He was at the pet supermarket in Gainesville when he saw a family with some kids. And he asked the kids if he wanted to pet the dog, and the kids said no. Then he said, do you want to pet me instead? Well, the father of the children confronted him, and the family then tried to walk away. The 75-year-old didn't want to end it. He pepper sprayed the family. Well, he's in jail. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, the 13th of July, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, great jobs, overtime, all kinds of good stuff. You know where to go, capecops.com, capecops.com.
Reminds me of when sports anchor in Southwest Florida, Jay Severson, he was leaving in about a month, and it was the British Open, and he always got dressed up in a kilt, okay, to do the sports during the British Open. And legendary anchor Kelly Burns turned to him and said, "You keep wearing that getup every year?" And he walks over to her, because he used to stand at like the weather board and do his sports. And so he walks over to her and he goes, "Would you like to pet my pelt?"
He would have gotten so fired for that today.
It was July of 2000. I'll never forget it, obviously. So when he leaves a month later, which shocked everybody, I went up to the general manager, Steve Pontius, and I go, "Did you make an offer to try to keep him?" And he said, "It's funny you say that." Half of me was like, "Oh my goodness, this is really going to hurt. He's a big part of our #1 rated news." And the other side of me was like, "Are you kidding? He's a walking lawsuit. Open the door. Let him go."
One of a kind, no doubt.
Yes, he was.
Good dude then, good dude now. Love Jay Bird.
Totally.
He's actually kind enough to reach out to me while I was up at Moffett, which was very nice of him. He's a good man. Not much on tap tonight, David.
As a matter of fact, no, Mark. No, there's
What do you got?
Come on, I got 2 WNBA games. Okay, 7:00 USA Network, LA and Atlanta. Our buddy, the Atlanta coach, Carl Semesco, they're scuffling these days. They've lost like 7 of 8.
If you say so.
That's why I was letting you know. And on Peacock at 9 and NBCSN, Phoenix and Minnesota, that's like worst team in the league against best team in the league. Home Run Derby tonight on Netflix. I'll be curious who the broadcasters are.
They've actually got a pretty good crew. They got a bunch of people. This is, Netflix is not shy.
No, they've got the money.
Broadcast.
Right. And they have no problem spending it. So
they're going to have Pujols. As far as personalities, apparently they've got Bonds, Pujols, Rizzo, Hunter Pence, and Matt Verstappen as part of the crew, for what it's worth.
Okay. I'm in. By the way, I thought Clemens was very good when he did that Yankees-Red Sox game a couple of weeks ago on Sunday Night Baseball.
By the way, I will say to you and anybody else that cares, but you made the comment about how good Andy Roddick is.
Yeah.
Broadcasting. They have him in studio. So they were going back to the studio in between sets or in between certain long breaks or whatever it was. And there are things, broadcast wise, I think he has to get better at just looking at the camera, nothing else. But his facts, what he talked about, how he was able to get to his point quickly, and his knowledge, I'm with you, David. He was, like I said, I watched the final. I had it on from start to finish, and he was terrific. Problem is, people love John McEnroe.
Yeah, they do.
Have a great day. Watch the Home Run Derby, Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com, CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton